The enigmatic Elon Musk tells the world that he cannot pay for Starlink after one of the ministers over in the Ukraine tells him to F off. And then he turns around and says, oh yeah, no, just kidding. We're actually going to fund Starlink for Ukraine for ever to come, probably. But we'll be talking about that and some of the other news that's coming up out of the Ukraine. In other news, a recap on what we went over at the beginning of Friday as we go over some of the video that the January 6th committee released. And most people focus on the fact, and I didn't actually catch this right at the time because watching that video was the first time, where Nancy Pelosi went up and said that she wanted to punch out a sitting president. And the Secret Service did nothing, so we'll be talking about that and where we go with that. A series of debates happened on Friday, both senatorial and gubernatorial in my state of Wisconsin, and senatorial in Georgia. So we'll be talking about both of those, some takeaways from those, and the mysterious, the very, very mysterious production of a badge by Herschel Walker. I'm a little confused by that myself. I'm kind of with the leftoids on that, but we'll be talking about that and what that means and where we go from there. And lastly, the New York governor's race between Hochul and Zeldin is now considered a toss-up. And if this moves into lean red territory within the next couple weeks, well, let's just come out and say that the Democrat Party might be screwed. It is going to be all this and more. Welcome back to midterm season. I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Man, I don't know if it's the change of the weather or I'm actually sick or anything. I can hear it in my own voice right now. So we'll see how this goes today. Plus, as I mentioned last week, I've been feeling exhausted for the last week. Like, I can sleep for 8 hours and just feel like I didn't get enough sleep. So, but we're here. The news stops for nobody. Even if I get sick, we're still going to sit at this desk and talk about what's happening in the world today over here on Contemporary. Thanks everybody for coming by. My name is Jay Edgar. We have got a host of things to go because this was actually a busy weekend. A lot of the times, and a few of the days because of the stuff that we've had left over. We've actually, I could honestly call some of these days that we had last week a slow news day. We only had like 10, maybe 15 news stories instead of the usual 40 to 60 that we've had at points in the past year. So, but I did go through and I took out a bunch of the stuff that's not relevant anymore. So anything that was over a week old was out of the stack here. I came down, we only had 5 stories left before I started adding stuff up, and we're back up about 40. Because we had so much go over the weekend here. 3 debates, recap of what Nancy Pelosi did with the January 6th committee, Elon Musk saying that I can't do this anymore, and then turning around saying, oh, just kidding, I have plenty of money, I'll put Starlink in the Ukraine for free again. Elon is not your friend. As much as we like the fact that he is going over and trying to take over Twitter, I know what Elon is, and he's just chasing that quick buck. So, plus an odd story with Bubba Wallace. Like, if we get to a point where we're coming up against 10 o'clock, and I still haven't got to this article yet, we're going to get to this one, because this is the same guy who tried to fashion and say that his garage door pull cord was a noose. And now he's out there laying hands on officials and everything. So we'll be talking about that. There's a lot of stuff to go over here over on Contemporary. So we'll get into it in just a moment. Before we do, make sure you guys go check out great programming such as The Daily Ignoramus, The Breakdown with Breckenhoff, The R-Rated Conservative, The Porch Boys. Go check out Tweets by Brit, KTZed, Mr. Behavior over on the Twitch side, who is getting back into the political fray. But still go check out some of his game design and development videos that he's been doing. He's really into this, and I know he's really happy to be doing this, so go check that out. PJ Patriot, who's the other one? The No Gimmicks Podcast. Go check out all that great programming as we strive and come together to bring you news by the common man, for the common man, and culture by the common man, for the common man as well. So we'll be talking about all that. Let's get into the markets here. I've got a little bit of an extended finance segment here because, well, there are some people that are actually talking on video about what they think the economy is doing. So, without further ado, let's talk. Let's start with the Dow, which tumbled off again throughout the day yesterday, bringing itself back down to 29,634.83. Let's get the live chat up here, by the way. And even though I do not chat with the live chat a lot on the morning show, do keep in mind that if you're lurking, at the end of the week, I will say a special thank you to everybody who got a chat in, at least one, because, well, we try to keep the flow up here, and we try not to get distracted by people who do come in here just to troll. That's part of the reason that we do this, and because we are up on a time crunch. I mean, there are 44 articles sitting up top over here, and we're going to try to get through all of them today, but still, on Friday, I say thank you to everybody who chatted in the live chat. It's all in the notebook here, so do feel free to come back and give your thoughts on this. I do read the chat after the program every single day, so I know what you guys are saying, where we go from here. The Dow tumbled to 29,634.83 throughout the day yesterday. Now, it looks like the futures are turning back up. We'll see if that lasts with this, because the inflation numbers are going to be coming out probably this week, and we'll see where we actually stand on all of our inflation. So that's what we have coming up with that. Your Bitcoin, if you hold, is on the rise today. It looks like it gave a little smiley face, swing itself back down through the middle of the day, and then just kind of eased its way back up. Looking in at 19,536 US dollars and 70 US cents per Bitcoin on the day. That is up 276.20. And on the 5-day, it's actually slightly up too, but there's a very wild swing that happened on Friday if we go to the 5-day, and then over the weekend it just kind of sat calmly with one little spike late in the day last night, and then another little spike that we see. We just looked on the full day today, and we'll see where the Bitcoin goes. It's hard to believe that just a year ago, we were actually questioning whether or not it would hit 100,000, and I actually believed that there was a chance to do it. But we'll see what happens with the Bitcoin and where we go with that. Gas prices. Let's look in at that. Looks like everything is going to refresh too as we get started, so we'll see what happens with that and how that does to the flow of the show. Looks like we are turning slightly down again. We've got 370s where we had 380s. We have some 380s where we had 4s. The one out on the far east side is at 379, but we've got 360 and 366 on the Isthmus. That was 380 when we look back in on that on Friday. So all around it does look like it's coming down, but again, this is a swing state, so our good buddy Tony Evers is going to do anything he can to manipulate that price down and say, oh, see, hey, we saved the economy here. Look, the gas prices are coming down. And I do see this as a mirage, honestly. But we'll see what happens with that and where that goes. Let's see what IBD has to say for the morning. From Ed Carson, Dow futures jump on UK news, but still a bear market. Netflix, Tesla earnings ahead. Dow futures rose strongly Monday morning, along with the S&P and the Nasdaq, as the UK government backtracked further on tax cut plans, sending the British pound higher and yields plunging. Last week was wild, with the major indices breaking to bear market lows before rebounding powerfully on Thursday, despite a hot inflation report. Stocks resumed selling Friday as Treasury yields powered higher. While a market rally attempt is still ongoing, the major indices are all in major downtrends. Stocks that will flash buy signals or set up suddenly crack. Investors should remain cautious until the market shows real signs of strength. Probably about 2025, we'll see. Dow futures are up, but it's still a bear market. Tesla and Netflix headline earnings in the week. Tesla stock has tumbled to 52-week lows. Netflix stock is set up in a bottoming base, but faces significant overhead resistance. Meanwhile, Shockwave Medical, Wolfspeed, Air Test Systems, Albemarle, and Digi International are growth stocks that are holding up reasonably well, but not actionable currently. All have suffered damage in recent days, including Friday. They could break decisively lower if the market shows further weakness, but if the market strengthens, those could be notable winners. Dude, I don't know how Netflix is even staying afloat. I can honestly tell you, at the end of September, I saw that Mean Girls was on Netflix, so I sat down and watched about half of it. I didn't finish it. But that was the first time I've logged into Netflix in months. Seriously, I don't know if my parents and my sister are using it right now, but there's a good chance that my Netflix is just sitting idle right now because there's just nothing good on there anymore. I do want to go back and watch Cobra Kai again, so I'm not going to go and pull the plug on it just yet. And there are a couple other things that are coming out that I do want to see that are on Netflix or Netflix exclusive, but it's just, they have their original programming, but all the stuff that really made Netflix back when, you know, you were excited to go back on and click on the Netflix is gone out to other channels. Trek, that's not on Prime or Netflix anymore. None of them. I've been watching Next Generation before I go to bed. That's on Paramount Plus now. So, yeah, there's a little bit going on with this, and it's things like that. I don't even know how they stay up. Hulu is another one, by the way, because I don't ever hear anybody talk about going to Hulu for anything anymore. I'm sure people still do, but it's like, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah, it's definitely a time. Looking at the UK government backtracks further. Jeremy Hunt, named UK Chancellor last week, announced the reversal of several more recent tax cuts to placate markets worried about the British government borrowing costs. The British pound rose solidly versus the US dollar, while the yields of British bonds or gilts plunged. So does this mean Truss is out? I don't know. Xi downplays growth, defends zero COVID. President Xi Jinping on Sunday downplayed rapid growth and stressed self-sufficiency amid a sluggish economy and fierce U.S. restrictions on chip exports to China. Xi spoke at ruling Communist Party's 5-year meeting, where he's set to break tradition and get a third 5-year term. He's also continued to defend China's zero COVID policy and said Beijing will never promise to renounce using force to reunify Taiwan with the mainland. So that could pop off here within the next couple weeks. By the way, midterms are only a couple weeks away. So anything that they have for October surprise is going to start dropping in a hurry. Just so you know. And by the way, I did get the day off. I set that up over the weekend. So guess who's doing a midterm live stream? Hope you guys will tune in. I think I'll do contemporary, I'll go vote, and then we'll be back here. I think I'll probably set up and start around 2 p.m. for that Tuesday, and, well, we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll see if I go to bed on Tuesday night and wake up Wednesday morning to announce that the Democrats have taken 435 congressional seats and all of the seats in the Senate. Honk, honk. I don't know. We'll see. On the futures, Dow futures jumped 1.11% versus fair value. The S&P advanced 1.3, and the Nasdaq popped 1.45. So this is probably going to be an update for the Dow, because usually if it gets above 1%, it stays up throughout the day, but we'll see. Overnight action doesn't necessarily translate to actual trading in the next regular stock market session. The 10-year yield sank 8 basis points to 3.93, which means that it spent the weekend over 4 without a GDP to back it up. Crude oil edged higher, and U.S. natural gas prices tumbled 6%. I'm waiting to see the economy numbers, by the way. Those will come out before the midterms, too. Alright, that's what we see coming off the Dow, but we hear about the economy. I mean, you go out there and you see how awesome it is, how amazing our economy is right now. Don't you? I mean, you all go out and see that, right? No? Well, Biden wants you to see that here. Eating ice cream today from RNC Research. Biden, our economy is strong as hell, man. Let's listen.
Just one more economic one. Are you concerned about the strength of the dollar right now?
I'm not concerned about the strength of the dollar. I'm concerned about the rest of the world. Does that make sense?
Can you explain that?
Yes. Our economy is strong as hell. The internal. Inflation is worldwide. Worse off everywhere else than it is in the United States. So the problem is the lack of economic growth and sound policy in other countries, not so much ours. And that's how worldwide inflation has consequences.
You're giving a speech back over here.
Just one more economic one. Are you concerned about the strength of the dollar?
Do you walk out the door every day and say, yes, this is an economy that's strong as hell? Do you see that? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I look outside and I say, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just finally set myself up into a situation where I can go out and most likely go and buy a home. I don't know what I'm going to do because everything got more expensive. Again, just a couple of filler items because I did stock up on meat last week. A few filler items last week, or this yesterday. Some veggies that I was missing, a couple canned veggies. The ham and eggs, by the way. Oh, eggs came down. While I was in the store, the sign outside the dairy department said that 18-count large eggs was $5.15. I got to the register, they were $4.35. Oh, that was amazing, by the way. I enjoyed seeing that. But yeah, just grabbing a couple of little filler items to get me through was $35. It costs over $100 to fill the tank on my truck. Now, mind you, that gets me 6 weeks if I don't travel anywhere, but still, it costs over $100 for that. Where is this strong economy? Oh, well, it's those stupid foreigners. They just don't buy enough from us. So, if they bought more from us, then we'd all be hunky-dory and happy. But it's them. It's not us. That is a man right there that cannot take responsibility for anything, unless it's going well. Hey, your gas price dropped 10 cents after I raised it almost double. Hey, praise me, you dumb bastards. But this is also, by the way, the same man who did this. Look at that girl. Look how uncomfortable she is. President Biden tweeted out from Kalen Dalmida. President Biden grabs the young girl by the shoulder and tells her, hey, no serious guys until you're 30, as she looks back, appearing uncomfortable. Secret Service appears to try to stop me from filming after Biden spoke at Irvine Valley Community College. Now, unfortunately, this is a TPUSA person. But let's look, and let's ask how old does this girl look to you? 10, 11 maybe? Maybe a little older.
Look at Dan.
Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys who are 30.
Okay. And what?
No serious guys till you're 30.
I'll keep that in mind. At least.
Dude, what? Now, I mean, I understand why he wanted his daughter no serious guys until she was 30, because he wanted someone, a shower partner, for probably the length of his life, but look at the look on this girl's face, like,
Oh.
Look at Dan.
Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys in the 30.
Okay. And what?
No serious.
like, what prompts you to go back and do something like that, unless you're dementia-addled or think you can get away with it because, you know, you grew up the tough guy in the 50s and I had that bike chain wrapped around my fist and everything like that, but this does look like this was out here for, they were set up for a photo op. Like, it looked like the two of them were getting ready to take a selfie and actually excited for it until we see this happen. I hear something about, or I see something about the father here, so let's actually pan this up. Yeah, he is kind of excited for that, isn't he?
Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters.
My daughters and granddaughters, man, they smell good. So there's that. But another person, and I found this after we were live, another person has decided to tell us that our economy was very, very strong right now. White House economic advisor Cecilia Rouse, we're starting to see signs that our red-hot economy is starting to cool.
Without having any layoffs. We can also see that the housing market is beginning to cool, and we know that housing prices is part of the challenge for families, is part of our inflation challenge. We know that excess savings are starting to be spent. So we are starting to see signs that our red-hot economy is starting to cool. And so we know that because of that strength, we're better positioned than most other countries for the Fed to achieve its dual goals without having any layoffs. We can also see.
Yeah. It's been cooling for a while, yo. I don't know where you're getting it starting to cool. It's been cooling for a while. Because you just keep fire hosing more money into the economy. But you know who's to fault? Let's ask the person who wants the Fed to control every aspect of your life. From Politico, Fed hurting the situation on economy, Sanders says. Let's throw some music back up. From Olivia Olander, the Federal Reserve is hurting the United States economic situation as the country prepares for a possible recession. We're already in one. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont said on Saturday, I think they're hurting the situation. It is wrong to be saying that the way that we're going to deal with inflation is by lowering the wages and increasing unemployment, Sanders said, asked on NBC's Meet the Depressed whether the Federal Reserve recent actions have helped or hurt the economy. That's not what we should be doing. We should be printing more money and putting more of it in the pockets of the people by coming through federal government programs. Because we have modern monetary theory. I want my tapioca pudding. The Fed has recently taken measures to slow the economy, including raising interest rates in an attempt to curb rising prices. Moves that risk causing a recession, Chair Jerome Powell's actions have largely had bipartisan support, with progressives, including Sanders, representing a minority dissent. In spite of the fact that we already have been in a recession and have been since the beginning of the year, the GDP started shrinking long before the interest rate even started raising. But hey, don't worry. 2/4 of GDP shrinkage, that's not a recession. We changed the definition. At a time when working families are struggling and the people on top are doing phenomenally. The upper 1%. I don't think that you go after the working people. Well, no, you go after the government. It's just that you guys keep printing more money, passing more bills, and aim that fire hose and shoot it right back into the American economy. Democrats should continue talking about economic positions, including raising the minimum wage, in a way that centers their campaigns on working people and separates Democrats from their opponents, Sanders says. He referred to Republicans' discussions on privatizing Social Security and Medicare, calling the idea of cutting either program, "It's grotesque. Democrats have got to hold them accountable for those reactionary positions." On the Biden admin side, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said Sunday that ABC's this week that a recession is possible but not inevitable. We're already in one. In any other situation in the world, we would be called recessionary at this point. But they don't want to come back and say that we're in a recession right now because that makes everything look bad for them. But that's what we see for that. All right. Oh, I did have one more for finance here from the Daily Wire. Some other bad news for the admin. CBS poll, majority blame Biden for the economy and say that it's getting worse. And we will listen to CBS Evening News in just a moment. A new CBS poll predicted Sunday that Republicans would likely take control of the House after November's midterm, but the economic questions were the ones that foreshadowed even worse news for the president. The CBS YouGov Battleground Tracker surveyed 2,068 registered voters between October 12th and 14th, asking a number of questions about the upcoming elections, the overall state of the economy, and whether or not they were satisfied with the direction the country was heading. Let's listen.
Turning now to the battle for Congress with the midterms fast approaching, a new CBS poll out today shows Republicans are still favored to capture the House with an estimated 224-seat majority. Democrats had been narrowing the gap, but that momentum has stalled. CBS's Deborah Alfarone is in Washington tonight with those details. Good evening, Deborah.
Good evening, Jerika. And no matter your income, inflation is inescapable, and it could be a deciding factor for the midterm elections.
There's a lot in here that lowers the everyday cost for middle-class families.
President Biden is trying to convince voters his big legislative win, the Inflation Reduction Act, will bring prices down. But a new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows 65% of registered voters believe the economy is getting worse. And 68% of registered voters say the Biden administration could be doing more.
This is a top concern for all voters.
It's also a top concern for the president.
On Face the Nation, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said curbing inflation is the president's top economic priority.
So there's a very clear choice, a very clear difference in approaches here right now on Capitol Hill and among office holders, where the focus for Democrats, the focus for the president, is to cut that cost of living and to cut the pressure, get people more breathing room at a time where inflation remains a major concern.
Another top concern for voters, gas prices. The new poll found 63% of people said prices are going up, compared to 16% in August. Republicans are pouncing on the price at the pump and blaming Democrats.
They're talking, bragging as if gas prices are lower. Gas prices are about 60% higher today than when Joe Biden took office.
The president has an action-packed week ahead of him on the campaign trail, where he's going to be heading to Pennsylvania to stump for Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Jerika?
Yeah, that U.S. Senate race, a very important one there.
And also to go and sniff kids. So, yeah, this is not looking good. My only concern with this, of course, is the fact that when you lose the people by the margin that you've apparently lost the people by, and go back and swing to the other direction, it opens the other party up to say, hey, let's push our ideology down by force if necessary. That's actually part of the reason that we have such authoritarianism in the Democrat Party right now is because it was such a reactionary force to the Bush admin, which I was on their side by that at that time, by the way. I was very anti-Bush. Oh, you had a person that we called authoritarian for 8 years? Well, let's come back and be even more authoritarian. Hey, you can't call somebody by their birth pronouns anymore if they don't like that. And if you do, we will make sure you can never earn a living again. That kind of thing. So, well, we'll see. We'll watch this. Let's talk Elon. So we're going to start here with this article from Reuters, and we will entitle this, How It Started. Musk says SpaceX cannot fund Ukraine's Starlink internet indefinitely. Doesn't look like I have an author given on this. Elon Musk said Friday that SpaceX cannot indefinitely fund Starlink internet services in Ukraine and send it several thousands more terminals, after reports suggested that his rocket company had asked the Pentagon to pay for the donations. Musk's comments come on the question of support for the internet service in Ukraine after he angered many Ukrainians with a proposal to end Russia's war in their country that including ceding some territory. Well, that's actually probably your best course of action right now. SpaceX is not asking to recoup past expenses, but it also cannot fund the existing system indefinitely and send several thousand more terminals that have data usage up to 100 times greater than typical households. This is unreasonable, Musk said on Twitter. The billionaire boss of Tesla and Starlink was spending nearly $20 million a month. He called it a burn, but for maintaining satellite services in Ukraine. He recently said SpaceX had spent about $80 million to enable and support Starlink in Ukraine. CNN reported on Thursday that SpaceX sent a letter to the Pentagon last month saying it could not continue to fund the Starlink service in Ukraine, and it may have to stop funding it unless the U.S. military helped with tens of millions of dollars a month. SpaceX did not respond to a request for comment. Musk activated Starlink in Ukraine in late February after the internet services were disrupted because of Russia's invasion. SpaceX has since given it thousands of terminals. So, that's how it started. Which there may be more to the story. Jason J. Smart, blue check on Twitter because he is 2010 Russia and Belarus lifetime ban for working against Putin. Special correspondent, Kiev Post. Words in Cyrillic that I can't read. PhD, interview request, DM me. No thank you. I have no desire to interview you. I can tell that already, but that's who that person is. Jason J. Smart tweets out, Elon Musk's Starlink says it can no longer afford to give Ukraine free service and asks the Pentagon to pay for it. Starlink has been a game changer in the war, which I can't deny. It actually has. You know, Zelensky can go out and give his address, his propaganda address every day to his people. He can come back out and appear on our award shows, all because of Starlink. He can come out and propagandize to the U.S. people, who go out and put Ukrainian flags in their bios and their Twitter names. He can do all those things to try to get gullible lemmings to go back and follow his cause. It has been a game changer. This comes days after the Ukrainian ambassador, Mienki Antrij, who is Melnik. That's an L, not an I. Andrej Melnik told Musk to F off. To which Elon himself replied, top reply, we're just following his recommendation. So, again, we're still in the how it started column. An ambassador told Elon to F off They told the person who's providing for free the internet service to your country, hey, why don't you just go and F off? And the person who is providing for free the internet service to your country says, okay, well, I'm going to take my internet with me. Bye. But unfortunately, he reversed course on that one. To hell with it. Elon Musk tweets, SpaceX will keep funding Ukraine government for free amid Starlink controversy. From Ashley Kaput. Ouch. I just jacked my elbow on my desk. Elon Musk said in a tweet Saturday that his company SpaceX will continue to fund Starlink satellite internet terminals for the Ukrainian government as it battles invading Russian forces. The hell with it, the billionaire tweeted. Even though Starlink is still losing money and other companies are getting billions of taxpayer dollars, we'll just keep funding the Ukraine government for free. That's actually kind of important because he is pointing out the obvious. You know, Facebook, Twitter, probably not Twitter for very much longer, things like that. They're still getting big government subsidies to provide the services to the government. Elon is providing to the Ukraine for free, and of course the Ukraine is in the government's pocket, and it's their personal money washing machine. But they can't pony up and give Elon appropriate pay for services rendered. It was not immediately clear whether Musk, who is also the CEO of Tesla, was being sarcastic. In response to a tweet about the move, Musk said, "We should still do good deeds." Responding to another tweet saying that Musk had already paid taxes that are funding Ukraine's defense, he said, "Fate loves irony." The tweets follow a statement from Musk on Friday, in which he said that SpaceX cannot continue to fund Starlink terminals in Ukraine indefinitely, after a report suggested his space community had asked the Pentagon to cover the costs. Musk did not immediately respond to requests for comment. In a letter from SpaceX to the Pentagon, the company said the use of Starlink in Ukraine could cost close to $400 million over the next 12 months. According to a report by CNN, SpaceX has designed several contracts with the U.S. government. David Sachs tweets out, "No good deed goes unpunished." And Elon says, "Even so, we should still do good deeds." Yeah, we actually should. I'm with him on that. I don't know if giving away internet to free for the Ukraine counts as a good deed, per se, but regardless, we should still be doing good deeds. So I guess I came into this saying that it's clear he's going to turn, he's going to show his belly, and he's going to give it away. Actually, it's not that clear anymore. I don't know if he's going to do this or not. The enigma of Elon Musk. We'll see. We've got one from our friends over at NPR. We'll do a little bit more war coverage right now. From NPR, explosives, suicide drones rock Ukraine's capital, hitting residential buildings. This is from Julian Haida, Franco Ordonez, Nathan Rutt, and Charles Maines. And remember, NPR needs your money, I mean our money, comrade, to continue to fund propaganda, to tell you that anything to the right of Mao is evil. So make sure you hit that donate button, because we need communism in our country. We need communism in our world. And the only way for us to achieve communism is if you capitalistically support the propaganda that will support the communism. So hit that donate button, because if you don't, then you hate the little guy. NPR, Never Printing Reality, National Progressive Radio. Well, let's see what it is that they have to say. Explosions rang out across Ukraine's capital early Monday, a week after nationwide strikes rocked the city for the first time since June. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said 5 drones struck Kiev in the morning attack and appear to be targeting enemy energy infrastructure. A 4-story residential building and energy facilities near Kiev's busy train station were damaged in the attack. Volodymyr Gritsin was leaving the train station and talking to a friend when the drones buzzed low overhead. Police started firing at it with assault rifles and machine guns, and then it suddenly turned towards us and we ran underground, he said. People were leaping over security gates and running up escalators with their luggage seeking shelter. Vitaly Klitschko said 18 people were pulled from the rubble of one of the residential buildings. Bulldozers could be seen driving past a police cordon that had been set up on the street. Smoke could be seen coming from at least 2 buildings. At least 4 people were hospitalized, and at least 3 people were killed in the attack, according to Kirilo Timoshenko, a top emergency response advisor to Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky. Klitschko says 2 of the victims were a married couple who were expecting a child in the coming months. The enemy can attack our cities, but it will not be able to break us. Occupiers will only get fair punishment and condemnation of future generations, and we will get victory, wrote Zelensky. Zelensky's chief of staff, Andrei Yermak, again called on the West to provide the Ukraine with more air defense systems. We have no time for slow actions, he said online. I remember, was it like a year, maybe 2 years ago, when, the NPR is posting a Telegram link right now. It was like 2 years ago that Telegram was the root of all evil. It was an evil Nazi website. On par with Gab. Back in Moscow, Russia's defense ministry acknowledged carrying out what it claimed were long-range precision strikes against military objects and energy systems in Ukraine. In his daily briefing, ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov insisted that all designated targets had been hit and said Russian troops had thwarted attempts by Ukrainian forces to advance in both Donetsk and Kherson regions. Both regions are parts of Ukraine that the Kremlin claimed to have annexed last month, despite its forces not controlling either territory. Many Kiev residents, including some of NPR's Ukrainian staff, recorded videos of Ukrainian air defense systems firing at drones over the city. Yermak said the drones were in Shahed models, known for crashing into targets with explosive payloads. Ukraine estimates that Russia ordered 2,400 of the drones from Iran, a number that overwhelms Ukrainian air defense systems as of 10 a.m. local time. Ukraine's Air Force claims to have shot down 11 drones. Klitschko said that 28 drones were detected in the Kiev region on Monday morning. Well, I hate to say it, but these are the kinds of things that happen in a war, especially when you go outside of the battle lines and go to try to shut down a bridge. Now, it probably would have been all well and good, and I would say strategically that Kiev probably would have been left alone had you stayed into the battle line, the Kherson, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Donetsk regions. But once you went back out and tried to suicide bomb out the Crimean Bridge, you did escalate this a bit. I do wish that Vladimir would not go after civilians. I will say that right off the bat. I wish that he wouldn't go back after civilians. But I also watched a truck bomb take out an SUV on that bridge that was probably full of innocent people. It was right next to the truck when it went off. There's no way anybody walked away from that particular SUV. So, there's that as well. But that's what we have for that. From the Times of Israel. Russian ex-president If Israel sends weapons to Ukraine, it will destroy Moscow ties. From Toy Staff. Times of Israel staff, I should say. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev on Monday warned Israel against sending weaponry to Ukraine, saying it would destroy relations between Jerusalem and Moscow. It seems Israel will supply weapons to Kiev regime. Very reckless move. It will destroy all diplomatic relations between our countries, Medvedev wrote on Telegram. Medvedev currently serves as the deputy chairman of the Security Council of Russia and is now considered a key ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. His comments came shortly after explosives-laden suicide drones, apparently including Iranian-made Shaheds, struck Ukraine's capital early on Monday. At least one person was killed. Volodymyr Zelensky said last week that Russia is using Iranian-made drones to target Ukrainian citizens. Civilians, rather. Well, citizens too, I guess. Medvedev's warning was an apparent response to an Israeli minister's call on Sunday for Jerusalem to send military aid to Ukraine after reports that Iran was set to provide Moscow with ballistic missiles. A report by the Russian state-owned Sputnik News tied Medvedev's comments directly to the statement by Diaspora Minister Nachman Shai. This morning, it was reported that Iran is transferring ballistic missiles to Russia, Shai wrote on Twitter. There is no longer any doubt where Israel should stand in this bloody conflict. The time has come for Ukraine to receive military aid as well, just as USA and NATO countries provide. So Israel is getting in on it. Our greatest ally supporting our second greatest ally. Now the EU getting in on it too. Another one from our friends over at NPR. And if you didn't hit the donate button before, hit it again. Because they need your money to tell you how evil you are. I mean our money, comrade, to tell you how evil you are for being capitalistic. And remember that communism and you owning nothing is the only way forward. Only the government can own anything. So hit that donate button and free yourself of all of that pesky, pesky capitalistic money. National Progressive Radio reports the EU is moving towards training thousands of Ukrainian soldiers on its own soil. From Joanna Kakissis. Well, let's see what they have to say now. The European Union will train thousands of Ukrainian soldiers on its own soil starting as early as next month under a plan that's expected to be approved on Monday by EU foreign ministers. The EU has been debating for months on how to best aid Ukrainian forces as the war drags on, with Russia working to mobilize additional 300,000 troops for the war. Turning ordinary people into soldiers is crucial for Ukraine, which despite recent gains remains heavily outnumbered on the battlefield. Poland, one of Ukraine's strongest supporters in the EU, has already offered to host training sessions for 12,000 Ukrainian troops. Germany will also train at least 3,000. To be fair, Poland is Ukraine's strongest supporter because if they do take all of Ukraine, that means that Poland has Russia on its doorstep. Let's go look at the map. So we've got Ukraine, obviously, but like they say Germany's going to come back in and help this too. But Germany's got a big-ass buffer before they have to deal with Russia on their doorstep, which I think is probably one of the things that they're thinking about with us in the EU right now. The evil Russians will be on our doorstep. Oh my God. But yeah, Poland is right there. And Warsaw is relatively right there. It kind of looks like, 100 miles? maybe 150. Give me 1 second. I see it. I see it. It's like it's on both YouTubes. Which means I gotta run over and get to the other YouTube. Because I don't know if I have any mods over on that one. I hate having a mod in the morning. But this is also partially why I don't, Come on. Modding up. Alright. Anyway, back to this. Back to the important stuff. Alright. Anyway, back to this. But some EU leaders are worried that training Ukrainian forces inside their own borders will further anger Moscow. Final details need to be ironed out, including how to move the soldiers from the Ukraine into EU territory. The EU may coordinate training with the UK, which has already put an estimated 6,000 Ukrainian civilians through basic training on British soil. UK-based training missions have become especially important for Kiev, given how dangerous training large numbers of people inside the Ukraine has become. In March, for example, a Russian missile attack on the military training base close to Ukraine's western border near Poland killed at least 35 people. So the EU is getting involved with this too. You can fix that. We can fix that. There, you're on the main channel, Ron. That's fixed. I didn't see you in the other channel, so I couldn't fix it over there. Alright, anyway, that's what we see coming off of that. Kind of broke our flow a little bit. I found this odd article over the weekend, and I thought that, you know, maybe we should actually talk just a bit about what's going on with this and what this means. From the New York Post. Russia is giving soldiers to Viagra to rape Ukrainians, UN official. You might want to do earmuffs for the kids for this one, because this one is, I think, a little bit graphic. Oh, they got both channels. The main and the backup. A UN official claimed Russia is using rape as its military strategy in Ukraine, providing soldiers with drugs to sexually assault civilians. Yeah, they're also going after nurseries and incubators too. Kuwait. When you hear women testify about Russian soldiers equipped with Viagra, it's clearly a military strategy. Pramila Patten, UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Conflict, told AFP. Patten added the UN has verified more than 100 cases of rape or sexual assault since the invasion began in February. Victims have largely included girls and women, but boys and men have been raped too. Oh yes, yeah. Oh yeah, and they're probably targeting again nurseries, incubators, and kindergartens, aren't they? In September, the head of the organization's Independent International Commission of Inquiry into Ukraine wrote that Russian forces were committing war crimes against civilians, including rape, torture, and unlawful confinement. The commission had noted that victims of sexual and gender-based violence ranged from 4 to 82. Oh, 4-year-olds, huh? and in some cases family members have been forced to watch the acts. Reported cases are only the tip of the iceberg, Patton told the AFP, but added that it's difficult to maintain accurate statistics during active violent conflict. The numbers will never reflect reality because sexual violence is a silent crime. Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah, tell me more. Look, here's the thing. Is this happening? 99% likely. Some Russian soldier goes and sees a war prize and says, "I will take you as wife, you will carry Russian child, and you will become Russian yourself." The Islamists have been doing that for years. Is it widespread? Probably not. I'm willing to bet that, especially given the fact that we're taking civilians now at this point, there are a few domestic violence, domestic abusers that are up there that are saying, "Sweet, I will go get women. This is why I will go to front lines. I will get shot at to claim my prize." Is it widespread? Probably not. Is it government sanctioned? Almost guaranteed no. But hey, they'll come back out and they'll make a headline out of it, won't they? All right, I believe... Yes. Nope, I've got one more on Ukraine, but it happens on our side here. Mehdi Hassan got into the argument here because this happened late last week. The Honorable and Venerable Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got confronted by anti-war protesters, and Mehdi Hassan had to come in and put his 2 cents in on this here. Mehdi Hassan says, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen," screaming hysterically about opposing war, while praising Tulsi Gabbard, avoiding any mention of Vladimir Putin and blaming AOC. Embarrassing. Now, full stop, I have not actually watched this video yet. I've heard passing narratives about this video, but I've not. But this is going to be my first time watching this video, where an anti-war protester confronts the Honorable and Venerable Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Let's have a listen.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks. Okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now, because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute, and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now? You're the liar here. Nobody has...
All right, no. Hold on. Before we get any further into this, and I know there are only 15 seconds left on this. You are being rude, okay, puppy, to everybody in here. This is the kind of tactics that you, Representative, employed before you came into the office, and this is the kind of tactics you continue to employ by coming up, standing up, and shouting down anybody who's in opposition to you. only hear, like barely hear her through whoever's recording this cell phone camera. I can hear him clearly, but I caught that right there. It says, and I heard her say, "Okay, puppy, you're being rude to everybody in here, okay?" And no, this is one of the first things you did was a sit-in to Pelosi's office. I don't want to hear you talking about this kind of thing, because as a community activist, a community organizer, this is the kind of thing that you did. You went out there and made a point and shouted down anybody who disagreed with you. And you still do that today. So no, you don't get away with that.
Hold you accountable. That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once.
And now they're going to remove the dissenting voice. I noticed the camera went off right before that guy got drug out into the street and probably beaten down on his way back out. And that is part of the problem. That's actually a really, really big part of the problem off of this, is the fact that, yes, we have these people out here, like Cortez, who went in like I did. If I would have stayed in the Democrat Party in 2008, before I read Barack Obama's primary agenda that said that we were going to be moving down the road to more socialism than anything else, I would have been right there with it. As a Democrat, I was an anti-war person. These people were anti-war up until war became profitable for them. There are a lot of things about the Trump admin that I did not like, and I've been very vocal and open about that. I've been very vocal and open about the fact that there were a lot of things about the Trump admin that I did not care for. But the two things that I will always give it credit for, the tax cuts, obviously, and they made war a dirty, dirty word in the Republican Party, which we have needed for a long time. But that's what we have for that. Hassan goes on. One protester accuses AOC of voting to start this war in Ukraine. Really, AOC, in addition to being a New York rep, is a member of the Russian Duma or controls Russian armed forces. I did not know that. No, she actually is voting to continue to fund to it, but... And then she goes to try to go it poll right away. Okay, puppy, the worst part of what... Of course, they're trying to cut from the clip is the fact that they were yelling over a deaf constituent, asking a question, and continue to do so when it was made clear to them that they were yelling over a person with a disability, okay? Because these people who are against me, they don't care about people with a disability. So if you have a disability, then you have to automatically vote for just me and nobody else, okay, puppy?
Congresswoman, none of this matters.
Okay, we're not going to listen to that again. Let's talk about the January 6th thing again. So I did, and I was listening, but I did miss this, I guess, in the clip. Asen tweets out Pelosi's response to hearing Trump might march to the Capitol is definitely worth watching. Let's listen.
And that's what this is all about.
Secret Service said they have dissuaded him from coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm gonna punch him out. This is my
I
mom.
would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm gonna punch him out and I'm gonna go to jail and I'm gonna be happy.
And that's what this is all about.
Secret Service said they have dissuaded him from coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm gonna punch him out. This is my mom.
I would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this.
Oh yeah, no, I would pay to see that. There have been a lot of questions about this this particular little clip, and I think this is the same clip actually. Yes, just with a Fox News header.
Oh, he comes, I'm gonna punch him out. This is my mom.
I would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this.
I would
for
pay to see that.
trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
No, you're not. This entire thing was staged. The big question that's come out of this is, for what reason? Unless we knew that something was going to be happening specifically, that day specifically. And there were already murmurings too, by the way, that there was possibly going to be some issue that day. I relate the story. There was a guy that I worked with at the time that said, "Hey man, I'm going to tell you right now, unless they overturn this and they fix this, because they stole this from us." Mind you, keep in mind, Susan, that the 2020 election was not stolen. In fact, it was most secure election in history. Honk honk. Nothing bad happened. Honk honk. 81 million votes, 10 scoops of ice cream. Don't ban me, please. Yeah, unless they turn this over and what we want, then we're going to go up there and we're going to show them what we want. This happened. That conversation happened back in November of 2020, after the election. The response that everyone gives to why Nancy Pelosi had a personal recording detail that day. Well, it was her daughter trying to make a documentary, or her granddaughter, or niece, or something. But it's the same thing. It's like, why would you bring somebody that you love and care about to the Capitol on that day, knowing full well that there have already been murmurings that something's going to happen, and also, by the way, looking out on January the 5th and seeing a sea of people that were already there. The fact that this was able to be caught on camera and everybody can come back out and say, "Yes, slay queen," as Nancy Pelosi cops to the desire to commit a federal crime, is that this was all staged. Every moment of this was staged. From the New York Post. New video from January 6 shows Nancy Pelosi vow to punch Trump if he marches on the Capitol. From Snezhana Farbarov. A never-before-seen video recorded on January 6th, sure it was, has emerged showing a furious House Speaker Nancy Pelosi warning that if then-President Trump marches to the U.S. Capitol, she will punch him out and happily go to jail for it. The new video was obtained exclusively for CNN from Pelosi's daughter, documentary filmmaker Alexandria Pelosi, and aired on Thursday following what could be the final hearing by the House January 6 Selfie Fest committee. The clip opens with Pelosi in her office watching the one-term president delivering an incendiary speech during his Stop the Steal rally, which he vowed to never concede at the election and urged his supporters to walk down to the Capitol. Pelosi remarks that it's very dangerous what he's doing, then jokingly tells her aides to relay to Trump that if he comes here, we're going to the White House, which draws laughter. The speaker then looks up out the window onto the mall and remarks on the large crowd of Trump's followers, "They're marching up." Pelosi's chief of staff, Terry McCullough, then informs her the Secret Service has dissuaded Trump from coming to the Capitol because they do not have the resources to protect him there, but she notes that could change. "If he comes, I'm going to punch him out," a defiant Pelosi exclaims. "I've been waiting for this. For trespassing on the Capitol grounds. Daughter, did you get that? Did you get that on camera? I'm going to punch him out. I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy." I'm just saying, I've seen people get a visit from the Secret Service for less. Excuse me. Yeah, this is all staged. But, you know, when Hollywood can't put out a good movie, they make the good movie in Washington, D.C. Politics. It's Hollywood for ugly people. Let's talk about these debates. Start with the Georgia debate for the senatorial race. Herschel Walker shines in debate, exposes Warnock's leftist record. Instead of aborting those babies, why are you not baptizing those babies? From Courtney Wheel. And it does look like we've got a couple of video clips from this as well, so we'll look at some of this. I did not see any of the debates that night because I was working, unfortunately. Republican challenger Herschel Walker of Georgia outperformed expectations in the first major debate of his political career. Walker is vying for the U.S. Senate seat currently occupied by Raphael Warnock, who was elected in a runoff 2 years ago. On Friday, the two candidates met on stage for their first and only debate. They were asked questions about a wide range of issues, including abortion, packing the U.S. Supreme Court, high gas prices, and recent spikes in violent crime. Walker managed to land several figurative blows on the incumbent, and clips of his performance have since gone viral. The only thing that I've heard on Twitter about this is the badge. Herschel Walker pulled out a badge. It was a toy badge. Which kind of tells me that this probably did not go very well for Raphael Warnock. Perhaps Walker's most memorable moment came when he attacked Warnock, a Christian pastor, for his support of abortion without limitations. Senator Warnock told me that Black Lives Matter, Walker said. If you think about it, Senator, in Atlanta, Georgia, there's more black babies that is aborted than anything else. So if Black Lives Matter, why are you not protecting those babies? And instead of aborting those babies, why are you not baptizing those babies?
I want to save your life.
Well, what's funny,
We need
man,
to keep moving, Mr.
I
Walker.
have to respond to this.
Very quickly.
Because he told me Black Lives Matter. And if you think about it, Senator, in Atlanta, Georgia, there's more black baby that is aborted than anything. So if Black Lives Matter, why are you not protecting those babies? And instead of aborting those babies, why are you not baptizing those babies?
Mr. Warnock, or Senator Warnock, we'll give you a chance to respond to that.
I think the women of Georgia have a clear choice. He says no exceptions, even in the case of rape, incest, or the life of the mother. I think that's extreme, is out of touch with Georgia, and I intend to do the work that senators can do.
See, he didn't read the heartbeat bill, though. Wait, he didn't read the heartbeat bill. That there is exceptions for that in the heartbeat bill. So when he makes a statement that is untrue, and I do respect that, but Senator, you have to read that bill.
He also completely missed the question and instead spun it back out into an accusation. So, if you're a Christian, why aren't you protecting these babies? Oh, well, Herschel Walker supports no exception for rape or incest. Where was the answer to the question? Let's see. But abortion was not the only issue on which Walker challenged Warnock. He claimed that Warnock voted to support the agenda of President Biden 96% of the time. He also tied Warnock to Biden's botched withdrawal of Afghanistan, contrasting his own friendship and loyalty to former President Trump to the lack of loyalty shown to those in Afghanistan and those U.S. servicemen and women who died or were injured in the withdrawal. Let's listen.
Mr. Walker, former President Trump is also considering a run for the White House in 2024. If you can give me a simple... And we'll give you time to explain as well. Would you support a Trump 2024 run?
Yes, I would. And let me tell you, President Trump is my friend. Has nothing to do with that. He's my friend. I won't leave my allies, which is what Senator Warnock and Joe Biden did in Afghanistan. They left their allies. They left their allies, and right now on a foreign stage, a lot of these people don't trust us no more. They don't trust us to be strong anymore. So they're waiting to see who's going to stand up, who's going to trust. They have no one to trust right now because I said President Trump is my friend, and he won't stand up with Biden when yet he's voted with him 96% of the time. Let's be real.
So I'm a little confused by that because Walker did say that he won't stand by Biden, and yet also in the same breath said that he's voting with Biden 96% of the time. I was a little bit confused by that. That confused me a little bit, but I mean, realistically, yes, that's a good way to point out what happened with the Afghan withdrawal. And yet, Ukraine thinks that we're just going to stick by them, even if it becomes unprofitable. Another one from RNC Research, Herschel Walker, on how to start lowering prices. First of all, we got to become energy independent again.
First of all, you have to blame this administration and Senator Warnock because with this inflation has gotten worse. They cut our energy independence. They also raised taxes. And at the same time, they reckless spending all our money. So he would sit here tonight and say that he's doing a good job for us, and you ask me what is one job I would do to help the inflation. First of all, we got to become independent, energy independent again. And the reason why, we're going to our enemies to ask for gas and oil. And that puts us not just in an inflation problem, but it puts us in a national security problem. And I think that's something that I think Senator Warnock need to realize.
Well, Walker is really not that well spoken. He makes good points. He actually does. One more. Raphael Warnock. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer. I've never threatened to shoot out with the police. In response, Herschel Walker pulled out a prop badge. I'm working with many police officers.
I have supported our police officers. I've called them and I've prayed with their families, like those officers lost in Cobb County when they were killed, doing what police officers routinely do. You can support police officers as I've done through the COPS program, through the Invest to Protect program, while at the same time holding police officers, like all professions, accountable. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police.
Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on,
I
gentlemen.
have to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, excuse me, Mr. Walker, please, out of respect, I need to let you know, Mr. Walker, you are very well aware of the rules tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop.
Yes.
That is not allowed, sir. Yes. I ask you to put that prop away.
Well, it's not a prop. This is real. And he said, I have a problem. I never worked with law enforcement.
It is considered a prop, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
aren't you aware of the rules?
He brought up the truth. Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you for putting that prop away. And as a matter of fact, we still have a lot to get to, and we are not going to continue this. We're going to follow up with a question.
So that seems to be the thing that everyone focused on, was the fact that he pulled out the badge. The authenticity, the exact nature are unknown. I don't know what it is. I've heard people like JoJo from Jers, it's a toy badge. And I've heard other people come back and tell me it's absolutely real. Huh. I'm getting a survey call on my phone right now. Focus on the family. Nope. We're not taking a survey on the phone. I don't know why my call filter didn't block that. Usually it does. But anyway, that's what we see coming off of that. Absolutely professional. All right, 5 takeaways from the Georgia Senate debate, as told by CNN. From Dan America, Gregory Krieg of CNN. When Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker met to debate in the already contentious Georgia Senate race, all the focus was on how the personal allegations against Walker would roil the first and likely only debate in the campaign. Walker continued to deny allegations that he paid for a woman to terminate her pregnancy, and then 2 years later encouraged the same woman to have the procedure a second time, calling them a lie. That, however, is just a blip in the hour-long contest, which centered on Warnock's ties to President Biden, the vast difference between the two candidates on abortion, and even, however briefly, Walker's use of what appeared to be a sheriff's badge. Let's check the takeaways. It's like there are only 2 takeaways here. Oh no, there's more. All right, number 1. Walker tries to bring Biden on the stage. Biden wasn't on the stage Friday night, but Walker tried repeatedly to convince viewers that the Democrat president was ostensibly there with his Democratic opponent. From the outset of the event, Walker repeatedly invoked Biden, hoping to tie his Democratic opponent to the president's low approval ratings. This race isn't about me. It's about what Raphael Warnock and Joe Biden have done to you and your family, Walker said at the top of the debate. Later, when pressed on voter fraud in the 2020 election, he added, "Did President Biden win? President Biden won, and Senator Warnock won. That's the reason I decided to run." He then synthesized his point, "I'm running because he and Biden are the same." Warnock did little to distance himself from Biden, even at times touting the legislation he passed with the president's help, but during a question on foreign policy, he took the chance to note a specific time he stood up to the Biden admin. "I'm glad we're standing up to Putin's aggression, and we have to continue to stand up, which is why I stood up to the Biden admin when it suggested we should close the Savannah Combat Readiness Training Center. I told the president it was the exact wrong thing to do at the exact wrong time. We kept the training center open." And that's going to be, I mean, Walker tried to pull a play out of the left to try to keep Warnock tied to Biden. The same way that most all of, including the CNNs of the world, are trying to keep Walker tied to Trump, keep everybody else tied to Trump. If you are running as a GOP member, you are tied inexplicably to Trump, unless you're Liz Cheney, because you said the right things about the mean orange man. So, is it effective? I don't know. That is something we do have to pay attention to, is the fact that, yeah, Warnock and Biden are in concert. And Warnock can't have an agenda without Biden signing off on it right now. So that is an important aspect to this. That is a lie. Ahead of the debate, the focus was on how Walker, and arguably less predictably Warnock, would address the accusations that the Republican candidate allegedly paid for a woman to terminate her pregnancy and then 2 years later encouraged the same woman to have the procedure a second time. Walker did what he's done repeatedly as the allegations roiled an already contentious Senate race, label the allegation a lie. Look, I don't know if he did or not. I know people have changed their minds on that procedure or other issues in the past. I think if he did, he should own up to it, especially if they're going to come with receipts for it. And we should have the conversation about it. Looks like they are calling this a toss-up right now. Abortion was a flashpoint. The candidates also clashed on an abortion rights more generally, with Walker insisting he did not support a federal ban, and contrast to past statements and pointing to the state's restrictive heartbeat law. The law prohibits abortions as soon as early cardiac activity is detectable, which can be as early as 6 weeks before many women even know they're pregnant. I love the editorialization that CNN has to put into this. On abortion, I'm a Christian. I believe in life. Georgia's a state that respects life, Walker said. The Georgia law makes exceptions for cases of rape or incest pending a timely police report, and in some cases where the pregnant person's health is at risk. Before the Supreme Court's ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, the state law had allowed abortions up to 20 weeks. Warnock, who supports abortion rights, repeated an argument that he has made on the trail. A patient's room is too narrow and too small and cramped for a woman, her doctor, and U.S. government. I trust women more than I trust politicians, of which you are one. Walker then shot back, invoking Warnock's support for the BLM movement against police brutality. Yeah, we saw that video already. If Walker supports the federal ban, which I don't see any evidence that he does, number one, that would be incongruent with the party's wishes, because the party did put this up to be a states' rights issue. which is why Lindsey Graham putting up his plan was a big torpedo into the Republican agenda, rather. And he knew that's what it was. He knew it didn't have any support, but he knew that it would rile people up and say, see, federal ban! They want to control women. And it should be on a state level. Full out, plain and simple. I wish it was illegal nationwide. But, as I've always said, we shouldn't be having our decisions made for us by people in a government far, far away. We should be able to appeal to our local reps and our state reps, who we have to see in the grocery store, not the people who will be surrounded by U.S. Capitol Police and Secret Service for the rest of their lives. Warnock argues for Medicaid expansion, while Walker is unclear. Georgia is one of 12 states that, not to expand Medicaid and currently has an estimated 1.5 million uninsured residents. Walker, when asked by the moderator if the federal government should step in to make sure everyone has access to health care, began a confusing non-response. Well, right now, people have coverage for health care. It's according to what type of coverage you want, because if you have an able-bodied job, you're going to have health care, he said, but everyone else have health care is the type of health care that you're going to get, and I think that is the problem. Walker continued to say that Warnock wants people to depend on the government, while he wants you to get off the government health care and get on to health care that he's got. To note, Warnock, as a U.S. Senator, is on government health care plan. That is fair, by the way. Walker also gave a puzzling response to Warnock's attack on the opposition to federal legislation capping the price of insulin for people with diabetes. I believe in reducing insulin, but at the same time you have to eat right, Walker said. Unless you have eating right, insulin is doing you no good. So you have to get food prices down, and you got to get gas prices down so you can get insulin. Warnock responded by telling viewers who required the drug that Walker was, in effect, blaming them for their struggles in accessing it. That's actually fair. For type 1 diabetes, that's something you're typically born with, so that's not something that just comes to you. For type 2, Walker actually does have a point where, and sometimes you can even, as far as I understand, I'm not a doctor, keep in mind, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. With type 2, I believe that you can reverse that if you cut down on some weight and start eating healthier. But type 1, no, that's a genetic thing. That's something you're born with. So, I do have questions about that. As far as capping the price goes, I do think that there does need to be some more competition in the market, and we need to get some government involvement out of this so we can get some competition into the market. So as somebody looks back and say, I can produce this for way less, let me produce this for way less. And if you, the other person, want to sell yours, then you're going to have to bring the price down. But I mean, you know me, I don't trust the federal government for pretty much anything at this point. And of course, the badge, which we talked about earlier. Again, I don't know if the badge is real. I don't know if it's a prop. I don't know why he thought to bring it back out, but that is the thing that, for the most part, is what's been focused on. You don't hear Brooke or Jersey, my wife's son, Reliant, talking about the Medicaid expansion. You don't hear him talking about the abortion, the Flashpoint. That's a lie, or Medicare, Medicaid, or Biden on the stage. All they talk about is the badge, which kind of tells me that they lost that debate. From the Hill, Walker defends his legit police badge after debate stunt. From Brad Dress. Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker on Sunday said the police badge he flashed on Friday during a debate with Senator Warnock is a real badge given to him by a police officer and that he carries it with him all the time. Walker told NBC's Kristen Welker that he has badges from counties across Georgia. This is from my hometown. This is from Johnson County, from the sheriff from Johnson County, which is a legit badge, Walker said, showing Welker the badge. If anything happened in this county, I have the right to work with the police in getting things done. People don't know that I've been working with law enforcement for years, he added. I do training programs. I do health and wellness programs. I visit prisons. Asked if the badge deputized him with arresting powers, Walker admitted it was an honorary badge. But they can call me whenever I want, and I have the authority to do things for them, the Senate candidate said. During Friday's debate, Walker stunned the audience when he flashed what looked like a prop police badge after Warnock criticized him for having pretended to be a police officer in the past. The GOP candidate was scolded by the debate moderator, who reminded him that props were not allowed at the debate, but Walker insisted it was real. Walker has repeatedly claimed that he trained as an FBI agent in Quantico and that he's worked directly with the Cobb County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. So, Walker says it's real. I say, again, I don't know. I'm going to skip this one. Let's shift gears. Let's come to my state. So I've got takeaways for the gubernatorial debate and takeaways for the senatorial debate in my state. From CNN, 6 takeaways from the Wisconsin governor's debate between Evers and Michaels. From Eric Bradner, Veronica Strakwilarski of CNN. Governor Evers and his challenger Tim Michaels clashed in a debate on Friday over the swing state's election admin, as Michaels vowed to sign into law a series of restricted voting measures that the incumbent has vetoed. The stylistic differences between these two nominees were on display in Madison in their first and only debate. Evers demonstrated his technocratic approach, diving into detailed proposals to issue child care tax credits, share state government revenue with local governments, eliminate the minimum markup law that requires gas stations to charge at least 9% more than what they pay for gas, and reduce state income taxes for middle-class earners by 10%. Michaels was much shorter on specifics, promising massive tax reform without offering details. Instead, he sought to portray Evers as a weak leader. Let's see what our takeaways are for this one. A clash over election integrity. Evers defended the integrity of Wisconsin's election, saying Republicans were claiming massive fraud in the 2020 presidential election without having any ideas or any specifics. It was a safe, fair, and we can have confidence in our election, Evers said. Which we just happened to find enough ballots to push me over 1.1% at 2 o'clock in the morning, the day after Election Day. The Democrat governor this year vetoed a series of bills approved by the GOP-led legislature that would have imposed new requirements on mail-in voting and new citizenship verification, required the state to deactivate more voter registrations, banned the use of private election grants, and shifted election oversight to the legislature. Michaels mentioned Zuckerbucks, a reference to Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan, donating $350 million to the Center for Tech and Civic Life to help election officials and voters safely navigate the coronavirus pandemic. He also said that he would outlaw ballot harvesting, the practice of allowing another person to hand in a voter's absentee ballot, and he highlighted a judge's ruling that this fall that led to the And he highlighted a judge's ruling this fall that led the Wisconsin Election Commission to withdraw its guidance to clerks to fill in missing information on absentee ballots, witness certificates. I'll make sure that once I'm governor, we will never have these questions again about election integrity. I will work with the legislature. We will get these bills right. The bills that Governor Evers vetoed, Michael said. Both nominees vow to certify elections. Evers and Michaels both said they would certify the next election in Wisconsin that takes place while they are governor. Yes, because I'm sure that one actually had to be in there. Oh, They didn't want the governor to certify the election because they wanted, you're a Trump ally. So if Trump doesn't win, then you're not going to certify that, right? Evers said he would certify the outcome of the gubernatorial election no matter who wins. Of course I will certify the next election, Michaels said. And then Michaels went back into election security. A clear contrast on abortion rights. Michaels said Friday he's pro-life, but would sign legislation that allows exceptions for rape and incest to the state's 1849 abortion ban, which is allowed to take effect after the Supreme Court overturned Roe this summer. Wisconsin's GOP legislature has not yet advanced a measure to allow such exceptions. They will. Trust me, they will. The Republican also said he's not against contraception and downplayed the possibility of enforcing criminal penalties of those who seek abortions in other states. It's because he doesn't have the jurisdiction to do so as governor. I'm a common sense guy. I've listened to the people, and I'll always listen to the people, Michaels said. It's the exact same thing if I go down to Illinois and smoke a bunch of weed. Now, yes, if I get popped on the DOT test, I lose my CDL. And if I get popped on the company drug test, I lose my job. But they can't go back and pursue criminal charges for me smoking the weed. Or possession, I guess, is what it would be in Illinois. They don't pop you for smoking it, they pop you for possession. As long as it was possessed in Illinois, they can't pop me on the charges. So long as I did not possess that weed in Wisconsin. Evers has pushed the state's GOP lawmakers to support changing the state law to allow for statewide referendum on the 1849 ban. He recently called lawmakers into a special session, urging them to allow citizens to put forth such a referendum, but the GOP-led Assembly and Senate have both adjourned in less than 30 seconds without taking action. Evers on Friday described Michaels as radical on the issue, and Wisconsin should return to the abortion rights protections that existed before the Dobbs ruling. Here's an idea. Hey, I got one for you. Here's a big idea. And this may not go in the direction that I want it to go, by the way. I'll come back and tell you right off the bat. With Madison and Milwaukee, and all the people on the north side of Milwaukee who want to use abortion to make sure that their current baby mamas don't find out about their new baby mamas. I fully accept that this might not go the direction that I want, but put it to a referendum. Put it on the ballot. Actually put it on the ballot and say, do you support this? Do you want to see this? And put clear language in it too. Don't do the confusing language like the Kansas bill did. Put very clear language. Do you want to see a referendum and this brought to the floor? What do you want to see? Ask the people what they want. And see what you come up with. Evers calls gun control measures that Michaels calls Evers backs gun control measures that Michaels calls unconstitutional. Evers and Michaels also clashed over gun restrictions, with the governor saying that he supports universal background checks and red flag laws, and Michaels responding that such laws were unconstitutional. Asked about violent crime in Milwaukee, Michaels touted the time he spent in the city and many homicides that were a result of knife violence rather than guns. He sees red flag laws as a slippery slope. With the millions of guns in Wisconsin, we need to make sure that responsible gun owners are not going to be subject to having their guns taken away without due process, he said. Evers said his plan to combat gun violence includes sharing state revenue with local governments. He also advocated red flag laws and universal background checks, two gun restrictions that currently have no path forward in the GOP-dominated legislature. Responsible gun owners don't have to worry about red flag laws because it will never be an issue for them, Evers said. Bull crap. Full stop. When red flag laws first started getting talked about, the blue hairs over on Twitter and Reddit were already talking about, oh, well, my state now has a red flag law. Oh, I guess my racist uncle at Thanksgiving better watch his tone, otherwise I might have to go and make the call and say that he's a danger to himself or others. Bullcrap. Red flag laws see the biggest part of abuse because now you're on the defensive, and once everything's taken back away from you because your blue-haired niece decided to make that phone call on you because she didn't like what you had to say about the politics at the Thanksgiving table. Now you are out thousands of dollars to go back to try to get your $10,000s of dollars of investment back. That is crap, Evers, and you know it. And Michaels vows to be tough on crime. Michaels hammered Evers over the Wisconsin Parole Commission's board decisions to grant hundreds of discretionary paroles not required by law. Those paroles have been routine in the past, but Republicans in Wisconsin have blamed Democrats for an increase in violent crime. The state saw a 70% increase in homicides from 2019 to 2021, a trend that occurred across the nation and that experts say was driven by the coronavirus pandemic and economic factors. The paroles, Michael said, showed Evers following through on his 2018 campaign pledge to cut the state's prison population in half. They released over 1,000 convicted felons. They have 10,000 more to go if you do the simple math. Michael said, I will pick a chief parole commissioner who's going to make sure that we have a rule of law in Wisconsin. And the last one, CRT or the ABCs. Evers and Michaels also sparred over education, an issue on which Michaels supports allowing public dollars to follow the students to private schools, while Evers wants more funding to public schools because Evers is a teachers union puppet. You would think that education is going well under his leadership, but it's not. Something has to change, Michael said of Evers, who was the former chief education official in the state before he was governor. He added, it can't get any worse. It will get better because we're going to empower parents. Those tuition dollars are going with the parents of the sons and daughters, and we're going to stop the CRT and get back to ABCs, Michael said, referring to critical race theory, a concept that has become politicized in recent years. Evers countered, CRTs are not taught in our schools, but the ABCs are. So that is how it's going on in my state for our gubernatorial race, the one that would actually directly affect us. By the way, that's not necessarily true, Horatius, because there are states. My state doesn't have a registration. We have open primaries. We don't have to register for them. But your blue-haired niece does know who is a Republican and who isn't. But yes, in states that have closed primaries, I can see where that is a problem as well. And on the senatorial side, 5 takeaways from second Wisconsin U.S. Senate debate between Ron Johnson and Mandela Barnes. From Bill Glauber, Daniel Bice, and Lawrence Andrea. Don't worry, no, even though they can't see our voter registration in this state, our blue-haired nieces all do know which one of us have voted Republican in the past. Or they think they know. They probably think I'm a Republican too, even though I'm not. One candidate, 3 weeks to go to the election, one candidate surging in the polls, and one last debate. It was all to play for Thursday night as Republicans Ron Johnson met Democrat challenger Mandela Barnes in their second debate at Marquette University's Varsity Theater. With so much on the line, the candidates went on the attack. Johnson has seized command of the race, according to voter surveys, taking a 6-point lead in a Marquette University law school poll released last week, which, by the way, that particular poll oversamples Democrats by a lot. I believe that was who was the phone call, by the way, was that poll, that firm. Let me look at that quick. Yeah, Focus on the Family. Yes, that's a Marquette firm. They could have rung a bell to get things started. Johnson lit into Barnes early, bringing up his college degree in communications, calling him a performer. He's an actor. Falsehoods seem to roll off his tongue, Johnson said. Barnes jabbed back. The reality is the senator is going to try to run and distract from his record, Barnes added. To the biggest accomplishment Johnson had so far in his business was saying, I do, claiming the senator married into his business as a plastics manufacturer. Barnes referred to Packer, the plastics manufacturer that he helped build, as the senator's business-in-law. Johnson helped start Packer with his brother-in-law, according to PolitiFact, which in 2016 rated half true a claim that from Johnson that he had started the firm. It grew out of a predecessor company that founded by his brother-in-law before it was renamed and restructured in '79. The Social Security thing. Johnson pushed back from the claim that by President Biden that the senator wants to put Social Security on the chopping block because he wants the program to be part of discretionary spending. Let me be clear, I want to save Social Security because you're going to use it as a piggy bank, Johnson said. I want to save Medicare. The greatest threat to any government program is massive, out-of-control deficit spending. Johnson said that even though Social Security recipients are due to get a large cost of living adjustment, it only keeps them equal because of what they lost by inflation. Dude, nobody is going to get rid of Medicare and Social Security. That's going to collapse on its own. Rick Scott put up a proposal, and it got roundly shot down immediately because Mitch McConnell is using it as his personal piggy bank. Just the same as Chuck Schumer is, just the same as Pelosi is, just the same as McCarthy is. I am against Social Security, but I know there is no appetite in DC to get rid of it. Dueling views on abortion. Barnes declared, in Ron Johnson's America, women won't get to make the best choice for their health care. He said he supported going back to the Roe v. Wade, the landmark decision that was overturned by the Supreme Court. A recent Marquette University Law School poll found 60% of Wisconsin voters opposed the decision to overturn Roe, but the issue ranked 4th on a list of voter concerns, up from 6th a month prior. Roe also allowed for some restrictions. He said it had strong protections for the life and the health of the mother. Johnson made his continued pitch for a one-time referendum on abortion to let Wisconsin voters decide these issues. At what point does society have the responsibility to protect life, balancing the rights of the mother and the rights of the unborn child? Johnson said. The Republican-led legislature recently blocked Tony Evers' move to put a referendum before voters. Johnson said that he would use his influence to get the referendum before the voters. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Ukraine, too. Both candidates backed U.S. and Western support of Ukraine and its battle to fend off Russia, which invaded the country earlier this year. We need to do everything we can short of American boots on the ground, Barnes said. Johnson said he supports freedom-loving nations helping each other out, but he then called for a full accounting of U.S. weapons sent to Ukraine. Yeah, I'd like to see that bill too, actually. Barnes criticized Johnson for once calling Russian President Vladimir Putin a smart guy and charged the senator was told by the FBI that he could be a target for Russian disinformation. Spat over law enforcement, Johnson tied Barnes to the defund the police movement. which he's very much a part of, by the way, claiming that Democratic policies have led to increased crime and have dispirited law enforcement officers. Barnes responded, no police were more dispirited than the ones who were present at the Capitol on January 6th. Yeah, that argument's never going to go anywhere. One side's going to say, George Floyd riots, and the other one's going to say, January 6th, until the end of time. And a bonus, what do you find admirable about your opponent? The moderators tried to end the heated debate on an upbeat note, asking the candidates to say something positive about their opponent. Barnes said Johnson has proven to be a family man. Johnson said Barnes has loving parents before veering into one final attack. What puzzles me is why did he turn against America? The crowd booed in response, probably appropriately, because yes, you're not supposed to come in and put your backhanded compliment when you're finding something admirable about your opponent. So, there we go. Those are the debates from this past weekend. We've got a bit more time to go here. We're going to go until Daily Ignoramus starts. So, let's see, what can we finish up here? Oh, we're going to do the Bubba Wallace one for sure. And this one over here, the advertisement to get people to go join up. And I think I'm going to touch on the Amaranth thing for just a second. I'm going to do these two first. This one, Barack Obama unloads on buzzkill Democrats and cancel culture. From Virginia Kruta. Former President Barack Obama offered some advice to his party heading into the fast-approaching November midterms, warning Democrats not to be buzzkills and calling for a move away from cancel culture. Obama joined the hosts of Pod Save America podcast for a wide-ranging interview that was released on Saturday, and he discussed everything from the ongoing war in Ukraine to the Supreme Court, but when it came to the midterm elections, he had some very specific advice for Democrats. We might, because they'll queue it up right before it's supposed to be, but we might want to make sure that we've got earmuffs on for the kids, because I've listened to Pod Save America before, and they don't do the same thing I do where they temper their language because you might have your kids in the car. So do be warned about that, and let's listen.
Be able to speak to everybody about their common interests. And what works for, I think, everybody is the idea of a basic equal treatment and fairness. That's an argument that's compatible with progress on social issues and is compatible with economic issues. I think where we get into trouble sometimes is when we try to suggest that some groups are more, because they historically have been victimized more, that somehow they have a status that's different than other people, and that we're going around scolding folks if they don't use exactly the right phrase, or that identity politics becomes the principal lens through which we view our various political challenges. And to me, I think that for a lot of average folks ends up feeling as if you're not speaking to me and my concerns, or for that matter, my kids' concerns and their future. It feels as if I'm being excluded from that conversation rather than brought into the conversation. And so that's something that we all have to be mindful of and cautious about. But I want to emphasize here, throughout my presidency, there was never a time in which we shied away from making strong arguments on behalf of groups that had been historically subjugated in this country, and we didn't ignore history. But there was always an invitation to people to say, you know what? I think all of us, regardless of what your status is, want fairness and want equality and want your sons or daughters to be treated fairly and with respect and dignity. And the more we're leaning into those arguments and the less we're leaning into an argument that says we're deserving of consideration and you guys are the problem.
Dude, that guy, if he doesn't have a teleprompter in front of him, listen to that, dude. We've been 3 minutes and 35 seconds was what we listened to for that, and he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything on that. There was no substance to any of that. That was all filler word. Dan Pfeiffer, who served as senior advisor on Obama's White House, opened the podcast with a question about the midterms. All right, we're going to start with the midterms, he said. Obama replied, of course. Because we're getting serious here, Pfeiffer continued. So these midterms, like 2010, are happening in, let's say, suboptimal economic environment, but sort of unlike 2010, Democrats have a handful of pretty powerful arguments. They seem to be moving voters about who Republicans are. He went on to say Democrats could win by pushing narratives that could be used to paint Republicans as more extreme, such as abortion access and the January 6th selfie fest. He asked Obama to weigh in on whether or not he felt those things could be threaded together into a cohesive narrative on the campaign trail. And Obama went on to, again, say absolutely nothing. Yeah, there was no substance to any of what he just said. All right, moving on to something more interesting. A headline that I never thought that I would read in my life, ever. New York City congressional candidate Mike Itkes stars in porn to show sex-positive agenda. From Zach Williams and Natalie O'Neill. His campaign's off with a bang. Literally. A Manhattan congressional candidate has released an online porn video starring himself in a bid to highlight his sex-positive political platform. Long odds third-party hopeful Mike Itkes, who is expected to lose to Democrat Rep. Gerald Nadler in New York's 12th, posted a steamy 13-minute sex tape with an adult movie star, Nicole Sage. Politicians usually want to cover up their sex tapes, but Itkes said he put it out to prove he's truly excited about legalizing sex work. If I would just talk about it, it wouldn't demonstrate any commitments to the issue, he told City and State. And the fact that I actually did it was a huge learning experience, and it actually influenced items on my platform. He said he posted the video titled Bucket List Bonanza to a popular porn website as a conversation piece. I mean, he's got good taste in co-stars, I guess. If she wasn't a thought, that dark hair, light eyes, kind of shapely, that'd kind of be my type. But she's going to be on top of 7 guys by the time this podcast ends. So, there's that. The footage of him making whoopee with Sage, who bills herself as a slutty girl from New Mexico, was his first time having sex on camera, he said. I'm very much an introvert, he said. I'm kind of a nerd who doesn't like to be the center of attention if I can avoid it, but I thought the issues I'm trying to address are so important. Wow. Anyone? I'm pretty sure he just went out and found a way to bang a porn star guilt-free. There's nothing serious left in this world. We have 12 minutes. What do we want to get to today? Oh, we want to do the Bubba Wallace one. Let's do these two. Let's talk Bubba Wallace. From The Daily Wire. Watch, Bubba Wallace puts his hands on NASCAR official following violent attack on fellow driver. From Ryan Saavedra. And again, by the way, keep in mind that this is the same Bubba Wallace. My garage door pull rope was a noose. Video emerged Sunday showing hothead NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace touching an official who was trying to talk to him following Wallace's violent outburst on another driver moments prior. The incident with the official, which could compound the problem facing Wallace, came after Wallace got out of his car and physically attacked Kyle Larson after Larson gave him a slight bump on the track. Larson's nudge sent Wallace's car up against the wall, and Wallace appeared to be intentionally retaliate by slamming his car against Larson's car, sending both cars into a crash that ended both the race for both drivers. Saavedra, you don't have to have the word both twice in there. NASCAR fan and Newsbusters managing editor Curtis Houck tweeted out a clip of the NASCAR official trying to get a hold of Wallace's attention and trying to slow him down to talk to him following the attack. Wallace threw the official's hands off of him and refused to stop and listen. Do we have a video of the crash? No, we've got the statement afterwards, though.
Literally. I'm down. They want to get him in the AMR safety vehicle to get him back to Infield Care Center.
Wow. I guess that's not as big of a deal as I would have expected.
Literally.
That's more of a get your hands off me. I'm
down.
I was kind of expecting him to take a swing at the dude, because it looks like that's what he did with Kyle Larson. But let's listen to his statement after the fact.
What happened? Cliff Daniels said if that wasn't retaliation, I don't know what was. Was it intentional retaliation on your behalf?
Clint's smart enough to know how easy these cars break. So when you get shoved into the fence, like deliberately like he did, trying to force me to lift, the steering was gone. So just so happened to be there. Hate it for our team. Super fast car. Had no short run speed, as you were seeing. We were kind of falling there. Larson wanted to make a 3-wide dive bomb. Never cleared me. And I don't lift, so I know I'm kind of new to running up the front, but I don't lift. So wasn't even in a spot to lift, and he never lifted either, and now we're junk. So just a piss poor move on his execution.
When situations like this happen, Bubba, at this speed, is retaliation an acceptable thing?
Stop fishing. Stop fishing.
I'm not fishing. I'm just asking you. Let's also talk about the message you wanted to send to Kyle by going up to him after the incident.
He knows. He knows that what he did was wrong. He wanted to question what I was doing. He never cleared me. So just hate it for our team. Our McDonald's Toyota Camry was super solid. Just needed to find a little bit on the short run, get the balance where we needed it, and it would have been just like Kansas. But now that car's junk.
There's always unintended consequences when something like this happens. Christopher Bell was a part of that, clearly a Toyota teammate and a playoff driver. Your reaction to that?
Let's watch that again. Not the whole thing. I want to see where the wreck happened. Because I was actually looking over into my corner to see if I could find the wreck, and I did find it, but it's going to be a part of the clip while they're talking to him.
Front, but I don't lift, so wasn't even in a spot to lift, and he never lifted either, and now we're junk. So just a piss poor move on his execution.
When situations like this happen, Bubba, at this speed, is retaliation an acceptable thing?
Stop fishing. Stop fishing.
I'm not fishing. I'm just asking you. Let's also talk about the message you wanted to send to Kyle by going up to him after the incident.
He knows. He knows that what he did was wrong. He wanted to.
And Wallace went back and found another garage door loop to go and complain about. And the FBI got involved for 7 months at a time. All right, what else do we have? So the Brooks trial has got almost no attention on mainstream media for a reason, because it makes the BLM argument look absolutely terrible. But many of us have still been following it. I'll probably be listening to a little bit of it later on today as well. But he's been trying to do the sovereign citizen thing. So this is him asking, who is you?
I heard a horn beeping, and then a Ford Escape came through the parade route, and you drove past me and wouldn't stop, and you continued driving into the parade route.
Who is you?
Daryl Brooks, the defendant, seated at the table.
Let the record reflect that I do not identify by that name, nor do I know anybody by that name.
I heard a horn beeping.
Yeah, this thing is a circus. It is. It really is. The little bit that I've seen of it, because again, nobody in the MSM has touched this thing with a 10-foot pole. But this is pretty much a circus at this point. So this popped up, and I'm going to come right out and say I don't know that I believe it. And there's a reason for me saying this, and it's mostly because of who the person is, what she does for a living, and another way to go back and get a great big income boost. Not to mention the fact that if you are that financially lopsided against your partner and he's that bad to you, I wouldn't stay. I don't buy this, but I'm going to report on it just as objectively as I can. Amaranth revealed she's married and accused her husband of abuse. Insider reports living in a fancy prison. Twitch and OnlyFans star Amaranth revealed she's married and accused her husband of emotional abuse, forcing her to stream. You are one of the highest paid OnlyFans models of all time. From Kenneth Niemeyer. Twitch and OnlyFans star Amaranth revealed that she is married in a live Twitch stream and accused her husband of emotional abuse, forcing her to stream, threatening to kill her dogs, and controlling her finances. Amaranth, whose real name is Caitlin Siragusa, regularly streams on Twitch, either playing video games or sitting in front of the camera while chatting with her audience of 5.9 million followers. She is also one of the top creators on OnlyFans in July and revealed that she makes as much as 1.5 million per month from the site. Siragusa revealed that she's married on a Twitch live stream on Saturday while talking to her husband on the phone live during the stream. Video of the stream has been removed from Siragusa's Twitch channel, but clips of it are circulating online. Siragusa did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment on Sunday. One clip shows Siragusa questioning her husband, "Why did you say you were going to kill my dogs?" The person on the phone responds, "Leave the house," before hurling obscenities at Siragusa. "What are you saying?" Siragusa replies in the clip. "You just said that you were going to kill my dogs if I didn't do the 24-hour stream." In the second clip, Siragusa says that her husband would not allow her to tell her audience that she was married, and that our relationship would be better if we just stream it. "You want me to tell them I'm single? It's about to be true," Siragusa says in the clip. The therapist even told him that it's a form of emotional abuse and that I'm basically living in a fancy prison, Siragusa says. So we've got some video of this one.
Why did you say you were going to kill my dogs?
Leave the house.
Okay, I can leave the... you know what? Actually, I shouldn't leave the house because my dogs are here.
We'll take the dogs and leave. You're asking the question, I'm telling you, and you're interrupting my fucking, telling you. Literally.
What are you saying? You just told me you were going to kill dogs if I didn't do a 24-hour stream.
Nope, did not say that. Now you're just fucking being a liar.
I'm not
I said I'm going to tell you what I said in terms of the earlier. Are you saying you did not say that?
I tried to tell you what I heard from you. And you called me a liar.
Then you tell me, what did you say?
What are you even talking about? You brought up the dogs out of nowhere.
Exactly.
So what point is it improving?
See? You're proving my point right now.
What? I'm asking you this. I don't even understand what you're saying to me.
I know. That's my point. My point is, are you listening or not? If you're not, then get the fuck out.
I'm literally listening, but you're not making any sense.
Well, no, you're not listening because it makes perfect sense. I'm going to say it one more time. If you don't get it, I need you to get the fuck out.
Second clip. And those are the only two that they give us. He forced her to continue saying she was single and commit to being a hot tub streamer.
The therapist even told him that it's a form of psychological abuse and that I'm basically living in a fancy prison. And then he was changed for a bit, and then the hot tub meta arose, and he was like, oh, this is an opportunity. And then he turned into an asshole again when I agreed to commit to the grind because it was a good financial opportunity for us. I've been wanting to tell people that, let's just stream together. Just tell them that we're fucking married. Because it's our relationship would be better if we just stream them. And it's fighting all the time. But no, mister, don't say that because it's going to ruin the business model. It's not time yet. Fuck yourself. I'm done with it. I'm not going to fuck you anymore. You want me to tell them I'm single? It's about to be true. Piece of shit.
All right. And then we have the text messages too, and I believe there's another video that I have. No, that's actually the first one that we just watched on the insider clip. I'm going to tell you why I don't buy this. And it's very simple. 4chan is why I don't buy this. For somebody who has 5.9 million viewers, who is easily recognizable, and yes, who does cater to a sad corner of the internet, some of them who both run out and post on both 4chan and Reddit. If this person was married, it would have leaked already. Somebody would have gone back out, looked it up, leaked it back out at this point. Especially if it's a situation where we're having abuse, etc. Number two, if this is a person who is forcing the stream constantly, he's not going to come back out and do something that's going to jeopardize his own business model. While knowing that there's an army of 5.9 million simps waiting to come back out and ruin him financially if this is wrong. He didn't make that call without knowing full well that it was about to be broadcast all across the internet. That didn't happen. That is not a thing that happened. He knows that she's online. He knows that that she's out there broadcasting, and he's not going to say something like that in front of the world. If he can keep her subjugated for as long as he allegedly did, then he's smart enough not to make that mistake. That's why I think that this is staged. I don't buy a word of this. I mean, if it is true, it's horrifying, but this, again, from somebody who got famous, basically, for pulling her snatch out on stream and getting banned from Twitch for it, and then getting let back onto Twitch because she made a bunch of money for the platform. No, I don't buy this. Not a word. Alright, and the last one, because the internet is real life. One that I put up at the feed for last year. The internet isn't real life. The Army, we're literally recruiting e-girls to lure your sons into the military to die for US-led globalism. PSYOPs are real, folks. Again, have not seen this video prior. So this is my first time watching this. I've seen that the video exists. I've seen little bits of it from setting it up, but I wanted to watch this for the first time with you guys.
Hey, don't fall for the PSYOP, brothers. What if it was the best blowjob you've ever had in your life?
What you're seeing is advanced warfare.
The U.S. government is engaged in a large number of secret medical experiments, developing techniques for mind control to create a so-called Manchurian candidate. What is the extent of these brainwashing experiments? How did the CIA become involved in such far-reaching and disturbing research?
Hey, don't fall for the PSYOP, brothers.
I mean, I do have to say that I can see this here. I actually thought this was going to be the actual advertisement, not somebody commenting on the advertisement. But one of the things that I can say this is I do notice a lot of the e-thoughterry out on the internet is pro-Ukraine. Go sign up for the military. You could go and save Ukraine, and I will love you because I love Ukraine. There does seem to be a big part of the message that goes along with that. So, I mean, sex sells. You can't sit here and honestly not think that the U.S. Army is going to go back out and use TikTok influencers to go try to get horny 18-year-old males who think that they have a chance to go back out and sign up to go back and press these people. Hell, that was one of the promises that we got in 2002 after the towers fell. Go be brave. Go join the military. And now I kind of wish that I had at points, because it would have given me a sense of discipline that I didn't learn until I was over 30 and would have kept me focused on politics. I've been writing political articles since I was 15, but I kind of did drift back out of it at one point or another. I've been paying attention to this since I was very young. But I think that I would have wised up to the anti-government sentiment a lot earlier than I actually did. So, that's what we have for that. And it is 10:07. I think that means we're going to head out of here for the day because Daily Ignoramus starts up here. But before we do, our last piece on Monday is always checking in with the rules of acquisition. Checking in and seeing what it is that the Ferengi Society says that we should be doing as ultra-capitalists. Now, as we do this, I am an ultra-capitalist. If I was another species other than human in the Star Trek universe, I would be Ferengi most likely, because I would like to get myself into the Grand Treasury at the end of my life. So the last one that we did was sleep can interfere with opportunity, the 103rd rule of acquisition. So this week we focus on Faith Moves Mountains of Inventory. This comes from the DS9 reference book, the Ferengi Rules of Acquisition. So there's no episodal context that goes with this. However, when we look at this, Faith does move mountains, and Faith can move mountains of inventory. That's fairly true. If your customers if the people who buy from you, who engage in your goods or services, have faith. Mostly because you've been proven to, but have the faith that they can get a good service, a good product, and a good customer experience from you. Then they will come back. Not only will they come back, they will bring your friends back. And I mean, you guys are doing this a little bit too. I see more and more people coming in. You guys are bringing friends in with you. But if you're known for selling a good product, and even if you do have an off time at one point, you have one model that's just off. Look at the Galaxy Note 7, if you want an example of that. The Note 7 was literally blowing up in people's pockets. And that was probably one of the better selling phones on the market because of, one fluke. People still trusted. They had faith in Samsung to deliver a good product. So yes, if you've given that out and people have faith in you and they have faith in your product, they will go back and buy it without a question. So yes, faith can move mountains. It can move mountains in your spiritual life. It can change the way that you look, your outlook on philosophical issues, or in this case, it can move mountains of inventory as well. And with that, we will be done. This is a good show. We got a lot done. We got through a lot of stuff, and yeah, we got into some of the psyop stuff. A lot of stuff that really matters too, because midterms are coming up. But I think it's time to throw up the outro music and head out of here for the day. Where's my outro music, by the way? It's not up here. Did I close the player? I must have closed the player. Oh, well, let's try it again. Found the player. All right, so we're going to head out of here. Yes, just announced times to be determined as to when we start, but we will be doing a midterm live stream right here on this channel, so come back. Otherwise, we'll be back here 99% later today for more Mass Effect. We'll be doing some of that. I do have some stuff that I have to get taken care of yet throughout the day, but I think I can get this done in the beginning of the day. I have to go get lids for canning. I went to make pickled peppers yesterday. I made jam and pickled peppers, but I didn't have enough lids to do both. So I gotta go get some lids and do some canning off of here, because that's something that we want to do. I want to try these pickled peppers in a couple months. But other than that, I think I've got everything else taken care of. I don't think I have to go out of town here yet today. So we will be back here tomorrow for more news, more headlines. Otherwise, later tonight for video games, I'm going to head over and I'm going to take the Twitch viewers over to the Daily Ignoramus. So definitely looking forward to seeing you guys over there and into the chat as well. Looking forward to some fun, some good times. And I do enjoy watching Stephen Ignoramus, even if I do mostly lurk through that. Otherwise, yeah, come back and join us here tomorrow. See what we come up with for headlines and what comes up in the news. They're going to ramp up the rhetoric now because we've only got a few weeks left before you make your decision. So looking forward to seeing you here tomorrow for the news that matters by the common man for the common man. We will see you next time, and until then, I am Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Take care.
mom to go get his daughter from the car. But by that time,
she's dead.
She's dead.
If you look up criminal in the dictionary, this guy's face, like that guy has the most like criminal face.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Well, there's like a whole this is the new
So there's body cam footage of him not bringing up his daughter. He never even brings it up.
It was 86 degrees outside in Georgia that day.
So you'd be cold.
No, yeah, the thing is, his mom came out to the news and it's like, oh, they just left his daughter there. They should have. Why didn't they search his car? But he parked away from the police station. His car was not on the police station property, so why they had no reason to search his car.
Oh man,
insane.
This is ignorant. This straight up. Just...
I know.
Yeah.
So it's just. Crazy. It's like, what do you think would like just any hot takes on that one?
I don't know.
Right.
Some come to mind. Give me some footage though. Do you gotta give me a?
I don't think I have the footage queued up. Actually, I'm sorry.
That's the news conference down there.
Yeah.
Can you just play a second?
We can play it with ads. No, this is not ads. Sorry.
Yeah, cool conference room, ass. Like, what are you at the Hilton? This is like your show. This is like one of your streams.
It is like
you're just like it starts the show and you're like.
I'm Detective Jeff Manley, in the City of Snellville Police Department in the Criminal Investigations Division. We had an incident last night in the City of Snellville Police Department where a woman brought her granddaughter to the emergency room at the Piedmont Hospital located here in Snellville. The child was an 8-month-old female. Her granddaughter, doctors examined the child and determined that the child was deceased.
That's messed up, man.
Our officers conducted a follow-up investigation and determined that the child had been left in a car at Snellville City Hall off of Oak Road. The child expired from being exposed in the vehicle for a long period of time. The investigation determined that the child's father left the child in the car and came to the City of Snellville Police Department. He was here at the Snellville Police Department to pick up a firearm that had been detected property. Our standard procedure as far as firearms, we do not release firearms to someone until we conduct a background check on that person to make sure that we're not turning the weapon over to a convicted felon. We checked the background on this individual, and he came back with a warrant hit for a probation violation. He was arrested here in the lobby of the City of Snellville Police Department for that warrant violation after 2 p.m. He was transported to the Gwinnett County Detention Center. He was on video the entire time from the moment he walked into the Snellville Police Department to the moment he was transported and released to deputies for processing in the Gwinnett County Detention Center. He made no statements as to the fact that his daughter was left in the car 2 buildings away.
Insane, right?
Our officer later discovered that the child was in fact in the car, and the grandmother had removed the child and brought her to the ER, and the child was in fact deceased.
That is so messed up, man.
I can't go into any details on that. It's still an active investigation, but he did not make any statements the entire time he was transported. He was in the presence of.
Yeah, so
that is ass.
Yeah, and if you guys want, you can find that whole video from start to finish.
Cases,
I watched the whole thing just to see, like, he didn't, and the cop that transferred him was very cordial, was like chit-chatting with him, like really nice to him, like, oh, I can't, sorry you had this, we had to bring you in, like, just very, like a nice cop. He had every opportunity to say something, especially to that guy.
Many such cases, man.
Yeah.
That's all needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
This is America.
So this is a fun one.
It's clearly a cultural problem. Sorry. It's about culture. It's about culture. Your control for all other variables, turn out the same way if you're a fatherless home, like.
So this is the COO of Beyond Meat. I've never tried it. Have you tried that stuff?
Yeah, I've covered this. I've covered this case.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we talked about this on my show. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I missed some of your show.
No, I've never had Beyond Meat. No, but the meat the joke about this one is like Beyond Meat is so bad that even the owner is trying to become a carnivore. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I thought I was going to surprise you with this one.
Well, do we have it on video though?
I don't think so. I think this is just a news story about it with dumb music in the background. You know, one of these.
Horatius says many such cases. Yeah.
Yeah, he bit the guy's nose.
Do you think that Arkansas parking garage? Do you think he got a piece of it off? Do you think he got
That's what it said. I read the story. There was a chunk out of the guy's nose. Yeah, I know.
Yo.
So he got fired.
He's the COO.
COO.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. New York Post.
Yeah.
Just hairy nose.
Disgusting.
They're the worst. I think they're one of the worst in media.
Yeah.
Is New York Post. Steely Dan is in the chat. I like your music, dude.
Interesting.
Do you think that is the real Steely Dan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? I believe everything I see on the internet. So. Yeah. All right. Well.
So it looks like we're buffering a lot.
I don't know what to do
People
about that.
complain about that. All right, there's nothing to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have good internet, I swear.
Yeah.
Interesting. I see.
Never had Beyond Meat. Not fond of eating cancer.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
Yet you can consume my show every day.
You give me AIDS more than cancer.
Yeah, it is more. It's cancer's deadly gay AIDS.
All right. So this next one is. In New York City, Brooklyn, actually. And so the story behind this one is they're going into a smoke shop, and there's two guys going in, and the one guy holds the door for the other guy, and the guy doesn't say thank you. And the guy is mad that the guy did not say thank you when he held the door, so he stabbed him.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, warning, graphic content. Avert your eyes, kids. There's no volume. Yeah, I mean, when you hold the door for something.
Make it full screen.
Oh. I need a producer. When you hold the door for somebody, I expect a thank you. But I'm not going to stab somebody if they don't.
He's got a knife out already. Wow.
Yep. And we're going to stop it there.
Oh, I see.
You can see what happens. You'd watch the whole video elsewhere. But yeah, just courtesy.
It's a big knife.
Like how they're in New York City. Is anybody courteous? I've been to New York City a couple of times, and I've never ran into anybody who was courteous there. So I don't know what this guy was expecting. Have you been in New York?
Yeah.
Anybody courteous to you?
I don't like cities. I don't know. Is it courteous? I don't know. People. I didn't have a terrible experience there, but it's I've had this is again. I'm always gonna make it about something that it isn't.
It's about you.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's the hot take is expecting someone to say thank you, but they're the other side of it. I've had women they're in front of me and they stop in front of the door expecting me to hold the door for them. They'll stop. And I'm like, bitch, I don't even know you. I mean, I will always hold the door for a lady unless she stops like that.
Yeah.
If she stops like that, then no, I just wait. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you staring at me for?
Have you ever had? I've heard other guys tell me this. Had a woman get mad at you for holding the door for her? Like I could do it myself.
Yeah.
That
That's just feminism.
It's insane.
Yeah, that's just feminism. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know. I'm never gonna be, because of my upbringing. I'm never gonna be fully like traditional.
Yeah.
But I am traditional in a sense where it's like, you know, usually when I'm like, if I'm gonna go on a date with a woman, I'm gonna pay.
Yeah.
Like, that's just basic dating, and like what's like chivalry 101, and it's like
man code.
Yeah, it's like man code. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that every date, or is that just first date?
It's a good point. I don't know. I don't really go on, like, we're gonna get to the third date and we're gonna be talking about marriage.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm gonna get married after like a month, but I'm saying that, like, we're not gonna be dating forever.
You're either gonna see her as the mother of your children or not by the third date, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then it'll be like, you know, from that point, we're just not gonna even go on date. You're just gonna come over. We're gonna hang out.
Yeah.
You know, and in that respect, I'm paying because I pay. You know, I pay my bills. So, you know,
all right.
You can see the gears turning. Can you close out of these tabs as you go? It's kind of bothering me. You can right click and click close tab.
I can.
Just say close at the bottom.
God, I need a producer so bad.
I'm just helping you out. Just helping you out on the spot.
All right. Moving right along.
Those?
I saw the highlights. I didn't deep dive into the stats.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about when I've covered this on my show.
Yeah.
Where it's like it was like something like 14,000 murders, and like everyone's like, it's gangs, it's crime. It's less than 150 out of 1,400.
That's the story you were covering when we came up with the name Crimeland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gangland.
Gangland. I said, no, it's crime. Right. It's Crimeland. Yeah. Yeah, shootings and stabbings and even fists and like stomping. They stomp people all the time.
Yeah, it's
kills
called
them.
Ghetto stomping where I'm from.
Yeah. Curb stomping, that sort of stuff.
No, curb stomping is something way more violent.
Yeah.
You know what yeah, you know what that is.
Yeah.
Ghetto stomping is just like,
I've seen IRL videos of curb stomping. It's brutal.
I stopped opening the car door for my wife early on. Yeah, that one's excessive, dude. That one is excessive. I
don't know about that.
I think that's excessive. To do it all the time?
No, not all the time.
Well, no, but the problem with what you just talked about is, like, you know, it's when are you going to stop?
Here's the thing. Here's the rule. If you're going out to a nice place and she's wearing heels and dressed up, you open the car door.
Any other time, I'm not doing it.
No, if you're like on your way to a wedding or like, you know, somewhere where she's wearing an evening gown.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but it's like, when do you stop? My ex's parents, he opened the door for her every single time.
But would she just like get to the door and like wait?
I don't know. I don't remember. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't even brought that up.
If my hands are full or something like that, Dave will open the car door for me.
Yeah.
You know. Other than that.
Doxed.
Roll the window down. Why are you doing with the kids? What's going on? Roll the window down, bro. These is not your car? Step out of the car. Step out of the car, bro. Okay, step out of the car. Help me on it.
He's messed
up. Is that you?
Yeah.
All right, let me figure it out. Okay, put that bottle away. Put that bottle away. Okay, put that bottle away. Okay, then I'll just step out of the car and help me out. Okay? What do you mean not you?
It's not me.
Okay.
It's not me.
So let me figure it out. I don't know what's going on. Step
out till you figure it out.
You're gonna step out. I cannot let you. Give me the car keys. Give me the car keys. Give me the car keys.
Wow.
I know where your dad is. I saw him running.
You can see his arm all tensed up too.
Give me the car keys.
To do something.
I'm not asking you twice. Give me the car keys.
You live in Mexico, man.
Alright. Step out.
I don't know.
I step out.
I don't know.
I need to figure out. I cannot let you in the car.
If I step out, you're gonna punch me.
I'm not gonna punch you, bro. No, I promise you.
You will.
I promise you.
You will. If I step out, you're gonna punch me.
Razor 103.
Razor 103.
Get out 94.
Unit Mechanic Court 15th and 137.
Is this?
Yeah.
All right, step out of the car.
No, it's not like that.
Step out of the car, bro. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Stay here. I need to figure out what's going on. That's all.
Over to Razor 103.
Razor 103. Come here.
Do you need your 94 1018 or you for 4?
I'm 10-4, not 10-18. All right.
Damn, that's scary for the kids.
I know, right?
We live in Mexico, man.
This was insane to me.
Where was this at? Hillsborough County. We live in Mexico.
Yeah.
We just everyone's Mexican. Like the cop's Mexican, that guy's Mexican.
Well, it is Florida.
I don't know. Okay, I'm just saying we live in Mexico.
Where's Hillsborough County? Is that near Tampa?
It's not near Mexico. It's not near Mexico.
Yeah, I have another carjacking coming up here in our Chicago segment. So.
Yeah, I mean the guy's like, I wasn't me.
Like the kids are right there. You're in the car.
He's like, what's not you? Like, he's like, I don't know. What don't you know? I don't know nothing. Like, that's sad, man. He's clearly on something or drunk or something.
Yeah, and thank goodness those kids spoke up. Like, you know.
Look. I will say that headline and the kids didn't. That guy was going to jail, even if he was their dad. You know what I mean? Like, that's an interesting headline, and it's funny they said that. But look, that guy was going to jail no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Excuse me.
So. All right, so
Xena in the building. Xena check.
Goes Xena cam. She can't hold her liquor. She cannot do it. All right, moving on to the next. She's just gonna sit in the background.
Oh, Light to the Max thought the car. I was like, why does a carjacker have a body cam?
Oh yeah. So Hillsborough County isn't near Tampa. I see geography is my jam. Told you. Anyway, so this guy, this is a piece of work. This guy. So he, somebody gets shot, and this is in Minneapolis, St. Paul, same thing. And so the police are giving him an award. And they allow him to say a few words. And this is what this guy chooses to use his few minutes of time in the spotlight on.
It is my great pleasure to present you with the Chiefs Award for Valor in recognition for your heroic efforts. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. I'd like to give you an opportunity to say a few words.
Yeah.
Mistake. That was a mistake.
I appreciate it. I feel like I did what anyone would have done with the little bit of training that I have. I'm a certified firearms instructor. I work in this high school in Minneapolis. I'm a dad and a husband and a wonderful community member. That day, 9 of your squad cars raced past us. As I was flagging them down, it said in the letter you sent me. And that was a potential of 18 people. 18 people could have stopped to help preserve life. But 18 people chose to go to a potential threat. And I recognized the man had a pistol, and we didn't know what he was doing. I do appreciate the recognition, but I won't keep this stuff. This will go to my mom, and this will probably go to my son, because I'm very uncomfortable being here with you guys. I do not rock with the police. But I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to say these things. And I just want folks to know that they don't keep us safe. We keep us safe. Riots work. Thank you.
Wow.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Alex.
Wow.
Thank you. Y'all be safe out here.
Great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it.
Riots work. Smash white supremacy.
Damn.
Insane, right?
That is pretty nuts,
Yeah.
man. I mean, that's a slave, yo. That's a slave mentality, man. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you, like,
I knew you'd have a reaction to that one.
yeah, that's almost so much to be said that it's like I don't even know what to say. But like, that's just like full on, like that's just not brainwashing. That's like brain wash, dry, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brain dried. You know.
Like, you know, that guy was out there during the George Floyd riots,
Sure.
burning stuff down.
Oh, yeah, it's like, you know, I'm not a huge cop guy, you know.
I know.
I'm not like a back the blue no matter who guy, but I'm saying that, like, the idea of you're at a press conference when they're giving you an award
for heroism.
That's just a lie. That being like, I'm uncomfortable here, I'm scared. Please.
Bullshit.
Please,
Yeah.
like, spare me. Like, that guy, that's just a straight up lie. He doesn't think that. No one thinks that.
Yeah.
Like, they're sitting there giving you, like, what are they going to just, like, arm up, you know, draw their firearms, put their collective knees on your neck, and, you know, like, that's just, it's but, yeah, smash white supremacy. That dude was like, was that guy black? I mean, he wasn't
white.
Yeah,
he was something.
He looks like he had some white.
Yeah.
Maybe some shenanigans went down on the plantation.
Oh my God. Yeah, he was definitely something.
Why even go? Says life to the next. Yeah, well, he was given a platform to draw a truth to a higher level of truth. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do I
exactly.
get to give a speech? Okay, I'll come.
and the cops did not check his social media or anything before they invited him there. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
And it's like, and he said, I know that that's 18 people that drove by and didn't preserve life. He's like, now I will say that I know that the guy had a pistol. You didn't know it was gone. It's like, that's literally the reason.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And the cops are not the EMTs. The cops have to make sure it's safe before the EMTs can even go in.
Yeah, what Horatius says. Yeah, he's like, I'm very uncomfortable right now. I don't rock with white people. I mean cops. I don't rock with white people.
Oh man. All right, so this next story we did cover on I'm part of your show. We covered it on your show, but there's a little more to it. So this is that little background of this one for everybody out there. So this mom and daughter went out to breakfast on like a Sunday morning. Dad was home. They get home and the girlfriend's ex-boyfriend is following them, pulls in the driveway behind them, and starts knocking on the door, banging on the door, trying to open the door, and then starts like shoulder into the door trying to get in. Anyway, the dad ends up shooting him and killing him.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing this up again, I mean, I have never brought it up on my channel, but you have on your channel, is because this guy's sister, the dead guy's sister, has this big campaign going on now of how there was a cover-up and the dad wanted to kill the boyfriend and stuff, but actually we're not going to watch the whole, it's 4 minutes long or
Flexion
whatever.
says, I think that guy was simply colored.
Yeah.
The colored fellow.
This is an interview that the sister did on Inside Edition that I wanted to play.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
For a young woman, James Rail wouldn't let go. This is the voicemail he left for a young woman who broke up with him 2 years ago.
It's James. I just wanted to see how you're doing and maybe
Simp
hear from
voice.
you. been a while since I've talked to you. Please give me a call back. Thank you.
The next day, a Ring camera captures Rail as he shows up at his ex's house outside Dayton, Ohio. Inside the house are his ex-girlfriend and her parents.
There's some guy on my front porch, and he won't leave, and he's got his hands behind his back.
Rail tries the door handle, and the father shouts a warning through the door. Then Rail loses it. He tries to smash in the door with his shoulder. The next thing that happens, gunfire. The father has opened fire.
He broke through the door, and my dad shot at him.
Rail collapses in the driveway, fatally wounded.
You saved my life, Dad.
These photos show the damage Rail did when he forced the front door open. And this is the father, Mitchell Ducrow, later that day at the police station.
Once I realized he was getting in, the door was open, is when I shot.
His daughter, 22-year-old Allison Ducrow, was also interviewed by police.
That voicemail from last night had already scared me.
A grand jury voted 8-1 not to indict the father, citing Ohio's Stand Your Ground law. Now the slain man's sister tells me she wants a more extensive investigation into the killing.
There wasn't a full investigation done. They were only
lady.
on the scene for 2 hours and then rushed it to the grand jury.
Jessica Colbert admits we may never know what her brother hoped to accomplish when he went to the house that fateful day.
My brother had no history
Yo,
of anger or
just for
violence. He was very kind and compassionate.
Shelby County Sheriff James Fry.
This is a no-win situation for any of the parties that are involved. It is very, very sad.
I just don't understand how there was not more compassion for James's life.
So what happened in this? The reason why the dad shot through the door is because the dad was at home on a Sunday morning, and once the door was breached, the dad had socks on and there was tile on the inside, so the guy was pushing the door, and even though the dad's a bigger guy, the door was opening, and that's why he shot. I don't know how much of an investigation she thinks that they needed in this case.
It's just
it's pretty straightforward, and it's all on video from start to finish.
It's just, this is just liberals. Like, they either it's like when you make enough noise, it's just, none of this stuff makes any sense. It's just a motion cope.
And here's the other thing with her. She
By the way, I just banned everybody in my chat because there was prawn in your chat, and I undid it, but there was a porn bot in your chat. It restreamed over to my channel, and then I banned restream just now. So I just banned someone tried to chat from Katie's. Yeah, I can't.
I got mods in my chat. They'll take care of it. I trust my mods.
Yeah, I just banned. No one. The restream doesn't work anymore. Like they're saying something. Oh my god. Dang it! Sorry, guys. I just totally banned Restreambot.
So we're only getting your chat now?
Yeah. Nobody knows what he intended as he's breaking down the door. Yeah.
Oh, so I was gonna say something.
That's usually true.
Oh, the sister put out the video was released after the charges were dropped or whatever, and she edited the video because the whole time that he was trying to break in, the family was saying, "We have a gun, you need to go away." And this is before he started banging down the door, like with his shoulder or whatever, and she took the audio out of them saying, like, warning him to get off the porch, and is putting that out into the world saying, "Look at what happened. He was just knocking." Like,
this is just how they roll with this is how just that whole liberal thing works. Where we didn't do nothing. It's like that one where it's like, yeah, it was wrong for him to have a gun, but it was wrong for the store to have a gun also.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's just not the way it works.
So you think we can fix Restream or
no? I mean, no.
It's
no,
broken
I don't.
forever.
I don't. Yeah, it's not going over. And just go over to Katie's channel. She needs the clicks more than me.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm way less popular.
It's
than
like
Steven
it's
is.
just not because Life to the Max is not showing up over here. So I unbanned
Restream.
Let me try to do it again.
I can't believe you banned Restream.
I did. I have to fix it in my Why don't you, because I need some water anyway, why don't you turn off my camera? Click the eye next to my camera.
Hold on, I know how to do this. Give me a second.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to get my water in my computer and try to fix that.
Okay. I'll just...
yeah, just do whatever.
I'll just talk for a while. I'll
Cool.
say all the words on your channel.
Cool. Sounds good. I do as well.
So what do you guys, let's talk to the chat a little bit. If you want to talk to me, you need to come to my chat though, because we haven't fixed it yet. But let's see what the chat is saying. What do you guys think of this brother or the sister? I understand being upset that your brother died or whatever. You know, died or whatever. Let me move this over here. But the fact that she's being so dishonest by editing the video, that's what got me. I could see thinking like, oh, we need to do a better investigation or something like that. But when you're putting out edited, like taking the audio out of the video so the warnings are not there, it's a little dishonest. I wanted to say a big thank you to my mods. I see number
Thank you,
2's
mods.
there, Life to the Max, News Now, who's a new mod on my channel. Shouting at Clouds apparently isn't watching the stream at all.
You can turn me back on.
Okay.
Hi, mods.
Hi, mods. You're back.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. Let me put the music back on.
Yeah.
Now.
Why you gotta make it so awkward? It's kind of part of
It's
your...
my job.
Yeah, it's part of your thing.
It's endearing.
Yeah, no, I can't even undo it. Because they're not banned anymore. Just it's something that happened to do with, like, the way it is interfacing or something, so...
Restream does that from time to time.
Yeah,
What are you going to do?
So we're good. So what's next?
Next.
Let's keep the energy high.
Oh, this is a fun story. So this is one of those, those daytime court TV shows.
Oh, yeah. I know this clip that we're about to watch. Yeah. Play
Okay.
it. Yeah, play it. Yeah, this went viral. Yeah.
Yeah. I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
It's old, I guess,
No,
but I had never seen it before.
This went viral less than a week ago.
Okay, so that's what I saw.
Yeah,
That's
this
what I
is...
thought.
yeah.
Instantly like a child in my
People
own
in
house.
love, they yell at each other all the time.
Oh, but that's
They
true.
don't have
Ask him,
nothing
he's
to
been
do.
married for how long?
Over 20-something years.
Over 20
Look at him though, he look mad. You don't look happy, brother. You don't look happy.
He's very happy.
Min Chow, a former TV show bailiff and current Harris County deputy charged with his wife's murder, now ordered not to attend her funeral. Renard Spivey appeared before a judge today. He's facing very specific rules for his bond. David Gonzalez explains.
Instantly like a child in my
People
own
in
house.
love, they...
So that happened. He's very happily married.
What are the, so what is that's Christina's core? What are the
Yeah.
famous one was Judge Judy, right? There's also Judge Mathis.
I like to watch People's Court. I
yeah.
grew up on People's Court. I still like to watch People's Court from time to time.
So
Not gonna lie.
I used to smoke weed with Judge Mathis's son.
Really?
Yeah. I've been to his house.
Really?
Yeah, he was from the same town.
Yeah, I've never. I don't think I've ever watched Judge Mathis, but. So you're like just one of the brothers, huh?
Yeah, I would say what word I am, but we're not on. Yeah.
No.
Can you pull up the chat again?
Oh, where did it go? Sorry.
Boomer Tech. All right, sweet. Just like be able to see it.
You're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Look, hold on. Yo, you need a producer so bad. There we go. Now we can do the music and the.
Yeah, you don't. Where's the chat though? What are you doing?
Oh.
Because I tried to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving along.
Can you close out of those tabs though?
Yes.
No, I'm just messing with you. I like knowing how much we have left.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's like I need a producer or something.
Yeah, you'll get there in about 1,000 streams. Which is why you should do it more often.
All right, so this story, I'm going to give you a little background on this one. These two, lab tech people were murdered. Lab researchers. Have you heard this one already? Okay. So they had an Alexa in their house. And you know how Alexa supposedly doesn't listen unless you say the control words?
That makes no sense, by the way. It doesn't listen unless you say the control words, which means it has to be listening
all the time
prior to the control words. Yeah,
exactly. Well, they believe, the police throughout their investigation believe that these criminals, the murderers, were in the house ahead of time and then stayed in the house after for hours or whatever. And there was an Alexa in the house, so they're trying to get the records from Amazon to get the recordings of this. So we're going to find out very shortly through this case if Alexa is indeed listening all the time. I'm going to say Alexa a bunch of times, so everybody at home who has an Alexa, it's going to be activated.
I have automatic resting disrespect for people that use Siri and Alexa. Yeah. It's like I'm not into you're invading my sensory space with you and your robot.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean that I can't like you. It's that you're starting behind.
Yeah.
You're definitely starting behind.
Yeah. I don't have that.
Yeah.
I have video surveillance.
Well, I've resting disrespect for you for other reasons. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, unspoken. I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
I have disrespect for you for a plethora of reasons.
But I make up for it in so many other ways.
Personality. Your sparkling, magnetic personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this particular case is going to be one to follow simply because we're going to find out if it's actually recording these situations because it is being subpoenaed. Police in Missouri continue to investigate the killings of two South African research scientists.
That's not American, but South African.
You all can read it. I can't read. I can't see. I can't read. The authorities identified. Police are asking local residents who have home video surveillances to call them. All right, these videos are dumb. I don't know why I even... Anyway, long story. That's basically the story, is that we're going to find out if Alexa's listening and recording all the time, not just listening for the control words. So that's that story. Okay, this one I pulled up just because this is the town... this is a little overseas news, a little overseas crime, but this particular town is where my mom's side of the family is from. So I've been to this little small town in England. But this guy, drove his car through this woman's bedroom. And it's just, the pictures and stuff are crazy. So this man in Bolton, England, drove his SUV through this woman's house, and when I saw that photo, I'm like, I need to put this in the roundup. Just
look at that!
Holy cow! So the sad part about this is this 92-year-old woman did not die from her injuries, but she was in the hospital with severe injuries and ended up dying from other causes. So she never went home after this.
Wow, that sucks. She's 92.
Yeah, she was 92. But look at this guy's face.
Yeah, he probably seems like he's a white guy, but he seems like he's a dark past. Wonder which side of the family. Most American criminals do have a dark past, present and future, by the way, too.
Oh man.
International roundup, by the way.
Oh, maybe I should do an international roundup. This is like the only international story I think I have. And like I said, the only reason I saw it is because I happen to have been to this really tiny place in England. Okay, Youngstown Police.
Yep.
This is one to just follow.
Right.
There's not a lot on it right now.
Yeah.
But they this woman went missing in 2017, and they found her remains this week. So
off of Thornhill, so at least
we'll watch the little video about this.
You know, in a wooded area off of Thornhill, so at least one person knows what happened.
Oh,
Double
look at
D.
me clicking the wrong button. Stop.
You're so funny with technology, man. Oh my god.
It's gonna play an ad
So
now.
at least
Watch.
one person knows what happened.
The mystery surrounding the 5-year disappearance of a Youngstown woman deepens as police are able to identify her remains. Good evening, I'm Dave Sess. For nearly 5 years, friends and loved ones of Amy Hambrick have been waiting to learn what may have happened to her after she disappeared. As First News senior reporter Jerry Ricciuti tells us, word that her remains have finally been found only leads to more questions about how she died.
As family members watched, Youngstown police announced a set of human bones discovered late last month, wrapped in a cloth, were of their loved one.
The skeletal remains discovered on August 26th were confirmed to be
Look at
that
that guy's
of
hairline.
Amy Nicole Hambrick.
Yeah,
Amy
looks
disappeared
familiar.
back
Yeah.
in November 2017 after leaving home to visit a friend in North Jackson. Since then, family and friends have held vigils and conducted searches while police chased down clues.
Tips and rumors of Amy's location ranged from all over our valley to different parts of North America and even as far as South America.
The bones were
South
discovered in a
Africa.
wooded area here off of Thornhill Road on the east side of the city by a woman who was walking with her dog.
No,
Now,
can
the
we
fact
not
that
with
the
this
family
hat?
says she was
Can
last
we not?
seen leaving her home on the west side has them
West
wondering
side?
how she ended up here and why. Although
Why
Amy's
are you
identity
wearing
was
that?
confirmed through dental records, it took several weeks to assemble her remains. Digital reporter Joe Gorman was permitted to watch as anthropologists from YSU did their work.
They could just take these pieces and put them back together and put them in the correct order they're supposed to be in. It was fascinating.
At this point, the cause of Amy's death is still undetermined, but understanding the conditions she was found, investigators believe at least one person knows what happened to her.
You know, we're asking to speak to either
Obviously,
that
one person
individual,
knows.
because there's clearly a side of the story here, or anyone that has information about, her discovery.
In Youngstown, Jerry Ricciuti, WKBN 27 First News.
So that'll be something to watch. I'm glad that I'm glad that they found her, because there's been cases that it goes 15 years, 40 years
Yeah.
in some cases, where the family just never knows what happened. So at least this family can have some sort of closure and bury their loved
I
one.
need some closure with how the people looked in that video.
All like every
everyone was
single one of
bothered.
them.
Like that guy with his like symmetrical hairline,
The sausage fingers
the
on the
sausage
keyboard.
fingers, the guy's
Yeah,
face,
yeah.
the guy's hat. Everything just
Yeah.
bothered me there. Serious crime show, by the way.
It's not. Very unserious crime show. The Skeletor remains, yes. Moving along. Look at me getting better at the tech as we go.
Yeah, that guy was a weirdo. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
New subway rider. New euphemism just dropped.
New euphemism just dropped. Subway rider. So this is the suspect. There was a string of stabbings in New York City recently that I'm sure some of you have heard about, and they caught the guy. So that's what this story is about. So it's just the perp walk. Surprise!
Again, if you look up criminal, like that guy just looks like a criminal.
Why'd you stab Charles?
Saquon, did you do it?
Did you know Charles?
He looks lost. What's happening?
Yo, frickin' abort, dude. What just happened?
I don't know.
Did we die? Close out that tab, first of all.
I can't.
Oh, no, just chill out.
Oh no!
All right, hang on.
You can get this.
This is like erratic.
What happened?
Here you go. Here's the one that we're gonna do next.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
All right, I don't know what happened there.
That was crazy.
Did you all see that, or was it just on our?
Yeah, no, they saw it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So anything that's up here, there. See?
Yeah.
Is that
Now this
this
program's called OBS, and the way, yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
So I thought that was a fun perp walk that I was going to show you.
That guy looked. That
Yeah.
just like looks like. That just looked like a criminal, man.
But they caught the guy, which is good news.
Yeah.
All right, so this thus begins our Chicago segment. So actually, we're going to go here first. No, we're not. Yeah. So this is the area that I used to live in, and these are all the crimes that.
What's
happen
it called?
This is the 16th district outlined in green, and then this is the 17th district outlined in blue. And I grew up over here, and then once I moved out, I had like apartments in this area over here.
What are all those? These are all the crimes.
These are all the crimes
Happening in one. What time period?
These are assaults. I think it's this year. Robberies, weapons violations.
Dude.
The little skulls are first-degree murders, homicides.
Yeah.
So you know how I like the maps, and I found this map of where I used to live, so we're looking at it now. I should have found one for where... never mind.
What is this on? Let's just Google.
Yeah.
So you can look this up on Google, like where all the crimes are? Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a crime show. We know how to do that stuff here. So this thus begins our Chicago segment. Okay. What happened to that?
It was it's the last tab.
Oh, right. All right. Okay, so this woman in Chicago is charged with dismembering her landlord, and they put her...
Wow.
She put her in the freezer because she was getting evicted. So not only is she not paying her rent, then the landlord's like, hey, I'm going to have to evict you if you don't pay your rent. So she just murdered the lady and put her in the freezer.
Wow.
So do you want to guess of...
No. Do I need to? Yo.
Do you want to guess?
Many such cases here, by the way.
Yeah. So Sandra Kolalu, age 36, killed this nice little old lady.
Super American name, by the way.
For asking for the rent that she was owed. So that's just an insane story. Oh, I hate
You have to watch an ad. No. Cut it.
Nope. Nope.
Cut it.
Not happening. Why is nothing happening? Oh, it's in between songs. All right, so this story's crazy. Have you seen this carjacking? This video of this carjacking?
No.
All right.
It's just called 16th and 17th District Chicago Police. There's a Twitter for that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so when I lived there, it was like not a lot of crime. So, but I moved from there, and now like it's just every year it's getting more, and like those little dots are getting closer together.
Yeah.
I'll make this one big. This one is crazy. So this is one of the highways in Chicago.
I'm scared for you, man. I'm scared for you. I can't do it. That motherfucker's got a rifle, not some motherfucking money. Look at that rifle. Look at that rifle. Look at the clip.
Imagine getting stopped by this guy and not just running him over.
He's hijacking the car. He's hijacking the car right now.
Like at this point, the guy's in front of your car with a rifle. What do you do?
Yeah. You like do not pass go. You
That's
just
what I'm
floor
saying.
it.
I don't understand. I don't understand the mindset of stopping for that guy.
Hey, drive off, man! Hey, drive off! Oh my God.
And then he's got a person.
Hijack that shit.
Insane.
This motherfucker just hijacked that shit.
A straight up Grand Theft Auto.
First of all, it's called carjacking, not hijacking.
Yeah.
Secondly, did you see that big, fat, dumb white guy get out of his car saying, "The Bears"? Like, he just gave his car over. What are you doing?
And didn't a second person come up to the car as well?
Yeah, there was a chick with him. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's straight up Grand Theft Auto.
Insane. I messed up this transition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, dude, I cannot stand when people like, you know, I think Major's kidding, but like it was like someone's like, yeah, look at the clip, like it's a magazine. It is a magazine, but it's like, you know,
It's also these people are in Chicago. So,
it's like, are we allowed to speak like like normal people?
Well, I mean, it is a magazine, so
I know it's a magazine. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I don't remember what this is, so
cool.
I guess we're just gonna be surprised. It's only 19 seconds long. It's gonna be a surprise. Oh, okay. So, okay, wait, this is good. I remember what it is now. I know I always have a lot to say about women cops.
What was it? Pants near the feet, cross the street. Look at nice stop, nice pause game, Skronk, by the way.
Pants near feet, cross the street. Yes, that's the saying. I personally think women cops should not be in combat roles like this, but this chick does pretty good, and that's why I say
that's
this
why
one.
you've encountered one case, and now you've recanted your position.
No, I have not.
It's like yeah, but I know one of the good ones. Therefore, like
props due where props are due. Watch this. She pulls a hockey move on this guy.
Damn, what the fuck?
Get down. I need another car.
They tweaking,
I need another car.
They ass tweaking.
This is not well done.
They tweaking, man.
That was not. That was not well done, man.
First of all,
look how weak she is.
Got him
dude.
to the ground.
I know, but
most of the time the guy just punches the girl in the face and he runs away.
This is such like, look how weak she is, dude. Look,
damn,
like this, like it's not like to that moment was okay.
Hey, what the fuck?
Look at this though. Look at how weak she is, dude. She's like,
You need to do a kidney shot. Like if that was me, I would have punched
They
him.
tweaking. They ass tweaking.
Put your hands on.
They tweaking, guys.
Yeah, so that's why I saved that one, because there was one case, not many such cases, just one.
One such cases.
One such case. Okay, so we've been going for an hour. That's good. All right, so
Time to flee the scene.
oh, this is fun. We need sound for this one. We'll start.
Yo. Oh, I've seen that one before. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Dude, that's that's white excellence right there.
Oh my god. Do you see his head bounce? His head bounces off of that pole.
That's an example of white excellence.
I'm watching it again.
Oh.
Oh my god. So yeah, the Chicago.
I like white excellence. That's what that one. That's an example.
I would say that
of
he tripped the guy, but then he got up like
young Chad.
I don't know.
Well, no, I think that. Look, I mean, not everyone is the most like masculine person in the world, but like that's just what you're protecting your community from a lunchtime rowdy.
Yeah.
That's pure. I think that is pure white excellence. You're helping the cops. Clearly the guy did something. Yeah. And it's like that very much like white boy summer vibes. Because his outfit, his outfit. Like that's like Chad young white boy excellence.
All right. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I mean, I could just watch it over and over.
This is where you remix it with like, let's see if we can do it. Let's see if I can do it on the spot. Oh no, you might get your stream blocked. No, I'm not gonna do it. Usually I would put on Eye of the Tiger and try to time it. I think I might have done it with this video.
Did you? I don't remember seeing this video.
See? This is a serious news show, by the way. All right. Cool. Is that all for Chicago? We got more.
I think that's it. And then I have a couple of longer stories, and then we're done.
Cool.
I
can't wait. I'm just kidding.
What is up with my mouse jumping around? All right, here's one. Another shorty. This guy holds on to his shit as long as he possibly can. Oh, I messed up the... yeah, there's no sound. Look at this guy fighting. He's trying so hard. And the bad guy won. But I appreciate the effort that this guy put in. This old guy.
What was he taking his phone or something?
I think it's a fanny pack. I'm not sure. It's some sort of satchel. So you want to know what was in that fanny pack?
What?
$17,000.
No way.
$17,000 this guy was walking around with. Insane, right?
Wow.
Cash.
Maybe he just went to the bank or something.
I don't know, but I'm sure that this pants near feet guy had to have known, like, or saw him at the bank, or had an inside tip of some sort, right?
What was the most? I think one time I had like $7,000 on me, and it was like for a legit reason. I don't remember why I had it. Like
the most cash. I remember the first time I had a lot of cash on me is we were bailing one of my brothers out of jail, and my mom wanted to take cash. But then when our house got hit, this house got hit by a tornado, and I had a cashier's check for $10,000 that I had to get from one bank to the other bank. Like I had to get it.
But a cashier's check, you can't.
No. I had to get the cash from one bank and then take it to another bank,
Yeah.
and it was 10. It was just, I think it was $10,000 exactly, actually.
That's
and it was
scary.
just driving here in my small town, like, and I was sweating, like having that much cash on me, and I was in my car. I wasn't walking down the street in New York. Come on.
I like how you have your cursor just up that guy's ass.
Pants near feet. This guy should have listened to the advice and crossed the street.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So next up is a story.
That's a good point. Horatio says, "I bet those criminals have hoes as tellers."
There was another story that I saw recently, and I don't know why I didn't put it in the roundup, but I saw it recently, and it was exactly that, and they got busted. One of the tellers had criminal boyfriends, and it was a couple, like a not elderly, but older, like my age, so middle age.
Elderly. Hey, you said it, not me. Usually I'm the one saying it. Dude, you know what's so funny? It's like, in my opinion, elderly is more insulting than old. Like old is just, that's a word, but like you're elderly.
Yeah. It was not you. It was D, and it was the pitchfork incident. I would have left him. That's just me. Yeah, elderly does sound...
Elderly, yeah.
Elderly or geriatric. Geriatric is worse.
Yeah, Katie, my elderly friend.
It's true. I'm aging gracefully. But yeah, he had this bag with $17,000 cash in it. Ridiculous.
Sucks. It's not
ridiculous.
Fun. It's not fun carrying that kind of cash around.
No, and now I see why he was fighting so hard.
Help!
Ridiculous.
I don't know what to say.
All right, so this next story, you actually sent me this, and when you did, I have done a deep dive. I've been following this case for years, and this is Sherry Papini.
Yeah.
This woman is insane, and so many people have covered this that I'm not going to do a whole episode on it, but it's going to be a little longer. But the fun part about this is this police interrogation is like an hour long or something like that. I watched the whole thing twice because it's so good.
You watched the whole thing, huh?
Her husband sitting here with her, which is crazy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Damn, dude.
So she thinks she's going into this police interview to, like, they call her in because she's a witness because she got kidnapped. So she thinks she's going in as a victim. But these two cops right here are freaking amazing. So first of all, they start out... this guy's just talking to her like, oh yeah, we just want to go over the facts of the case again. And then this guy over here stops him like 2 sentences in and says, Sherry, I just want to remind you that lying to an FBI agent is a crime. Okay, go ahead. Like that's how he starts the interview.
Yep.
And then they start laying out. So she had her...
I think it's so messed up that they can lie and we can't, though. That's messed up, man.
True.
You should be able to lie. You know what I mean? Like lying is like part of protecting yourself sometimes.
But you're allowed to not say. You just say nothing then. All I'm saying is, I said this before. I've said it many times on my show. Don't talk to him. Just don't talk. Just don't say anything. Don't talk to him. Do like you said you did. Get a lawyer. We talked about this last night. You get a lawyer.
But she's a woman, so not talking is usually not on the table. You know, this is not related to this, but did you see this stat about the Supreme Court justices?
Oh, how many words?
Yeah, the Ketanji Brown Jackson has almost triple anyone else.
Yeah.
And the next 3 are all women.
All women. And then poor Clarence Thomas, they never let him get a word on.
Based.
He's like PJ.
Yeah. Oh, poor PJ.
Poor PJ.
Play it.
Well, this is a 24-minute.
Play it. Yeah. You're going to get an ad. It's Fox.
Any painter can paint, but only CertaPro.
Turn the volume off. You had your cursor right on it. Skip ad. Yo. Boomer.
If you want Keith to leave, I'll ask Keith nicely to leave. If you don't want Keith to leave, then he can sit here.
All right, so this is the part of the video. So they've laid out, they've taken all these pictures of the place where she was staying during this month she was gone, and it's like, is this the room you? Because she described this guy's apartment exactly, because she figured if she's ever going to get questioned, if it's real, she'll.
Oh yeah, that is them.
All right, we're just going to talk about it.
That's Howard's campus.
Stop. Shut. So we're just.
Oh man.
Calm down. We got this under control. Okay, so they collect my thoughts. So they have all these pictures of the place, and so in her head she is going to describe the place where she really was, so that she can't forget down to like little details, like the way the bathroom was laid out was weird. It was like the toilet was first and then the sink and then the tub, which is unusual. And there was like a crack in one of the tiles in the bathtub. She describes the room that she stayed in. So they're pulling out these pictures of like, oh, and here's the crack in the tile, and here's like this weird bathroom laid out weird. And she's like, oh yeah, that's the same, but not quite. So they've gone through all of these pictures of all the place. And then what we were just getting to, which we're not going to watch because I messed it all up because I'm a boomer. But they said, do you want your husband to leave the room before, because it's her, like they're about to say her ex-boyfriend's name that she spent 24 days with or something like that.
Yo.
Anyway, she's in jail. And the unusual thing about this is the prosecution was only asking for like 6 months or something like that, 7 months.
For faking your own kidnapping? That's what she was
trying. For faking your own, and they had helicopter, like they had the whole thing.
They had like a whole search thing out.
The judge gave her, so the prosecution, the defense is asking for 3 months. The prosecution is asking for like 6 or 8. The judge gave her 18, like more than twice as much as anybody was asking for, which is great. I think she kind of deserves that, you know? I don't know why we have.
Well, you got to close the old tabs. That's the big thing that's bothering me. Since it is about what bothers me. Okay. You can transition the screen now. Say it.
Holy shit! I think I like it better when I go on your show and you're in charge. I think I like that better.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so this is Kim Kardashian has a new podcast. You know, Kanye's wife, ex-wife.
It's actually Ye. No.
Ye's. I can't with the name changes.
Yeah.
I just can't.
The other day he did have an interesting point on his interview. He's like calling me Kanye. He's like calling him Cassius. He's like, he's Ali now.
No, yeah, that's fine. His name's Kanye. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean.
I mean, I'm not just going to change my name to KTZed or something and expect people to call me that.
KTZed.
Yeah, KTZed. So she's got this new podcast, and she's been on this Innocence project kick lately, and each case gets progressively, the criminal that she's trying to defend gets progressively more guilty. So this guy, what's his name? Kevin Keith. Not only does he have evidence, like physical evidence, like he backed into a snowbank and his license plate or partial license plate is in the snowbank. 3 of the 6 people he tried to kill lived and pointed at him and said, "That's the guy."
Yo.
And she's trying to get him out of jail.
Okay, I gotta be right back. I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I've been holding it for a little bit.
It's the 18 cups of coffee and water.
Yeah.
All right. Let me turn off your camera. Wait.
Xenocam. Xenocam.
All right, so this guy, like, not only is he extremely guilty, but she's trying to get him out of, not just off of death row or whatever. He's already off of death row, like, because somebody falsely confessed to it or whatever. But he really had 3 eyewitnesses. Also, he killed children. He tried to kill 3 children. 1 of them died. 2 of them survived. And he knew this family, so they knew who he was. He, like, had his whole disguise was he had a turtleneck on and he pulled it up, like, over his face like this. But if you know the person, you know who that is under the turtleneck. So he was pointed out. Also, the evidence with the license plate, it was only partial license plate, but he got stuck in a snowbank. Funny story, I had a friend when I was a teenager who sideswiped a parked car, also hit a snowbank, and left a perfect imprint of her entire license plate in the snowbank. And then we were at another person's house and, like, hanging out in their basement, and the cops came there and arrested her. Oh, dumb. Just so dumb. Also, there was a neighbor that saw him fleeing the scene, getting into the car, and her, Kim Kardashian's whole thing is they described the wrong color car, but